Welcome to another episode of North London is Ours. What would be said by the end of May? It would have to be right now. North London is Arsenal's, currently speaking. But we have the wonderful winner at life, Mr. Stefan, in the house. Big up, how you doing, brother?
Hey man. I'm doing well, man. I'm slowly just kind of I'm excited for the upcoming month, the April and May, but at the same time I'm also just dreading it because of the actual schedule. So, just bring it on. Let's see what happens, and yeah, hopefully my prediction is gonna come true at the end of the season. So let's see.
We will see. Yeah, it's a big month for both clubs. Every game, I would say, every game is important. All 10 games for Spurs, and technically it's 12, but if you advance, it will be 14 and 16, whatever. But it's for both clubs, it is exciting and nervous times for both clubs. Going to do a couple of big ups. A couple people might be coming late. Ashmatic, Connor coming in later on. We have a fun-filled show today. We also gonna pick our current team of the year. Our current team of the year. I'm gonna give you a little preview. I hope it doesn't freeze up. If we freeze up, Stefan, you might have to run the show, but I don't think we're gonna freeze. So here we go. Share screen. Okay. So far, so good. Because I need to make sure this works. Okay. We're frozen. All right. Okay. Not bad. I'm still here. Okay. And then let me add it on.
Oh, yes. It's working. Good stuff.
It's working. Yes. So we will come, and you guys will have input.
No, wait, Mark. I just want to point out because Mark Swift wrote gunner equals runner. Mark, I just want to know: have you noticed that Stell never shows up whenever Arsenal are doing very well? He's not showing up tonight again. I just want to point that out. So, Mark, I'm always on the show, Mark. I always show up, even when Arsenal lose. So, yeah, please don't call me that.
Okay, and so we will definitely get to this. So we're very excited about that. It's going to be really, really interesting, and you guys will have a say on the team so far of the year. I just want to give a couple of big ups before we start. Yeah, Ray the Yin, big up stuff in the panel. Mark Swift, who has once again called Stefan a runner. Big Tone, big supporter of the channel. Levy out, Big Tone. Tony, I got a rant. I got a rant coming. Name is Steph. Big up, brother. German girl, let's go. Adrian, big up, is in the house. Robert, Mr. Robert Wilson says, evening all. JJ says, LOL, Stefan. Henri, the GOAT, winner in life. What is your dog? Are we talking about Arteta's dog? What the mascots work?
I would like I just want to point out, I'm sure all the Spurs fans get the reference, but just in case the Arsenal fans and any other rival fans that are not watching, Kulusevski 2 weeks ago came out and I think in the Players Tribune saying that although Spurs lost 4-1 to their London rival at home and a shit Chelsea team, Spurs won in life. So I'm thinking, you know what? Whatever happens in my life, no matter how shit everything is, I'm a winner at life also. Just like Kulusevski. So it's I'm just applying his thinking to my life now. Yeah.
You're losing Sunday. We will talk about that tonight. The big game. I'm gonna say they got a good chance. They got a good chance. We're gonna talk about injuries. We're gonna talk about I actually more confident and maybe I'm more confident now that we will get a result against Arsenal than City. All these injuries and stuff. Something weird is going to happen on Easter Sunday. We will find out. Big up Frankfurt Gunner. Big supporter of the show. Rated Yid, top Spurs. Big up. Where's Mr. Post Office? If he wants to jump on, we will give him the opportunity. Paul Brown, big up. Big supporter of the channel. Big up. Arteta out. AFC Anthony Clark, big up. He did say, if he brings a trophy in by the end of the year, he's going to change the name. So he's one of those. He will change the name when he delivers. So, first topic at hand, I want to talk about. First of all, hit subscribe and like, guys. Smash. I'm going to put. TJ couldn't make it today, but I will definitely put up his channel along with Spurs Kings when Ash comes on. And so definitely hit subscribe and like. Please hit the subscribe, like, and notification bell so you know when these shows come on. First topic of the day. I just want to get this out of the way. Is Ange's comments on the transfer philosophy. They may actually be different, and it was good to kind of hear from an outsider's perspective. But I'm going to go on my rant. I'll go first. So this was the comment.
Go, Mari. Go.
Okay, good. It's not blocking our faces. That's good. So Ange comes out today. This is from Fabrizio Romano. So this is from the interview, and Fabrizio says, "I think not just stars for the future, but also solid players. I do not expect any superstars. We know Tottenham's strategy is different from this. The strategy of Spurs is to sign 2, 3, 4 different players rather than one superstar. This is the clear project of the club." Where do I begin? Philosophy of the club. There are teams, there are clubs in sports, in football, they have a philosophy. Real Madrid's philosophy is, we know not many of their talent come through the academy. They buy the best talent, either youth, right? Edric, Vinicius, Rodrigo, or the best talent at the time, Jude Bellingham, at the time. Before then, it was Isco. They do a good job. Sergio Ramos, right? He was with Sevilla, right? Real Madrid has a philosophy. Barcelona is a mixture of La Masia, right? One of the best academies in the world historically, right? They believe in the youth. You see Yamil, who's doing great. He's a Barca kid, unlike Endrick.
They have so many players, Barcelona.
Right? Gavi, Pedri, right? That's their philosophy. And they mix in some international players like Neymar and stuff. They mix it together. Ajax is, like I said, through their academy, right? Their philosophy. Bayern, they buy the best German product, right? From Dortmund and all the little dwarfs, right? I call it Bayern and the 17 dwarfs, right? Oh, good. You developed that player. We'll take them, right? We'll take Matt Hummels. We'll take, right? They have a philosophy, right? Other sports, same thing, right? My Giants in football, we're currently start from scratch. Okay, philosophy, right? We might draft a new quarterback. Philosophy. Tottenham's philosophy, right? For those who say we have changed, has always been this, right? Remember the Magnificent Seven? We sold Gareth Bale, right? Could have got 2 or 3 solid, right? I'm not even asking for superstars. Talking about 2 or 3 quality people to come in. Now we were lucky, 1 out of 7, right? Because you gotta have 1 out of 7. It's like almost going to a club and speaking to 10 girls, right? 9 of the girls might slap you, but 1 of them, if you go home, you're successful. So Christian Eriksen was 1 of those 7. 1 of the 7, because remember Fazio? I'm not talking about Fazio, the model. We had
Fazio. I forgot about Fazio. Was terrible.
Fazio, Vlad Chiriches, right? Right.
What was it? Vlad Chiriches, Fazio, Nasser Chadli, Eriksen.
I mean, Ernie Eriksen was of quality to be able to stay. So this philosophy has not worked. Has not worked. People may say, well, we need depth. Granted. But if that depth of a squad is shit, we don't need it. We've been stuck with Deadwood for year after year after year. We need quality. We need quality. Right? Lamela wasn't part of the 7. To be fair, he was not part of 7. Last summer, it did not work. It did not work. Danny, it worked out that Ben to Ben worked out. Vicario worked out. But right now, Belize is not playing. He's on loan. So that is a what if, right? Future what if. Solomon. Do you rate?
I read I read a really shocking stat on Solomon. I don't know if you know, but every single club he has been, Solomon, he has been out injured for more than he actually has played at those clubs in the available games in the seasons that he has had in Shakhtar Donetsk, at Fulham, and then I think before Shakhtar Donetsk at his Israeli club. So I mean, Solomon is also, I would say, I know he was on a free, but he's super injury prone.
Going back to my rant, the philosophy has clearly, from Conte to all the way to Poch, hasn't really worked. We need quality. We need quality. The strategy of having 2 or 3, 4 players, right, subpar players, right, quantity, and hoping that they work out has not worked. It has not worked traditionally for our club. We need to eventually be a club that says, okay, we're going to buy 3 to 4 solid players, right? Because he goes 2, 3, 4. Usually it's more than that, right? Usually it's more. We need to buy quality over quantity. This is what we need to do as a club. It becomes frustrating that if you keep doing the same philosophy that has not worked, and it hasn't. Someone needs to tell me in the chat if it works, if it has worked, why continue it? Why continue it? Try something else. Try something else. Do something different. Get in. I don't mind getting young players. I don't mind that. But get some solid veteran players. It seems like we don't want to sign anybody that's over the age of 24. Now, granted, we got Madison, right? But how many people waiting for Madison, right? Madison's contract running out. Leicester City dropping down, right? It has to be a bargain. And what frustrates me is that this club, this is where I'm going to get mad. This club is not Burnley. This club is closer to Man City, Chelsea, the big boys in regards to revenue. This club makes money. I've said this since the beginning. I've been streaming, right? On top of the hill of Tottenham is Tavistock, global billion-dollar company. I live in the city where Tavistock's headquarters is in Orlando. Mind you, many of you behind the Dallas Cowboys, number 2, top 10 global club in regards to making money. FFP champions, right? We're the champions of the FFP. Richest club in London. But yet, we act so different, so frugal. It is so freaking frustrating. Yesterday, there was a show called The Overlap. The Overlap. Watch it. Go YouTube it. It was Neville and what's the Liverpool guy? Carragher. And the question was asked, will Tottenham ever win the Premier League? What was the answer? No. Why? It wasn't the players. It wasn't the manager. What did Gary Neville mention? Daniel Levy. It always, no other club mentions their owner. No one mentions their CEO unless when it comes up to Tottenham. We're the only club, it always goes back to the club president, Daniel Levy. That poor guy, because, he didn't want to, say anything. The guy who was representative of the Tottenham fan was saying, well, Daniel Levy has helped a long way. And the guys agree, yeah, making money. We're great. But what's the use of making money when you don't spend it and you don't spend it effectively? So, yeah, we're the FFP Kings. We're the richest club in London. And what do we have for it? What do we have for it?
Mari, you forgot one major detail. They recently announced that they're going to approve the new financial rules, which will mean that every club can spend, I think it was up to 85% of their revenue each summer, which means that pretty much Man City can almost spend 500 million each summer, and Arsenal can spend, if they get to the Champions League semi-final and final, by next summer, Arsenal can probably spend around 350 million. So the plan that Levy had, the one where he thought he was a smartass and he was going to, be the FFP champion and all the clubs were going to be struggling to sell their players and Levy was going to take advantage, has just gone down the shit. Why? Because he didn't think maybe the fact that maybe clubs like Man City, like Arsenal, like Chelsea have a lot more lobbying power than Spurs. And that's what happened.
Yeah. And just to correct you, Danny, some of those contracts were people we already had. Kulu, we gave him a new contract, for example. So technically, we didn't spend that. And when we spent on players like Brennan Johnson.
Yeah, but right? But you still spend. Look, Mari, I would agree with you. Where I would say the criticism should be even more stronger is how you do spend. If you look at over the last 2 seasons, you have spent close to the same amount as Arsenal. But look at the difference that the Arsenal
quality you spent. You got to spend on Declan Rice, right? Type of play, right? Timber, we haven't seen him play, but if he is who he is, right? You spend it for quality. Even with VDV, right? No one in their right mind from the beginning. VDV has turned out to be great, but VDV, right? People had to Google, like, okay, and had to look. Tapsoba, we could see, okay, he was already a baller and whatsoever. It's the philosophy of this team that is just, let's hope that these players turn out to be good. And it's freaking frustrating. It's frustrating. And we come with every excuse for the Ponzi scheme that Daniel Levy is running, that is Tottenham Hotspur. Congratulations. We got a hotel coming. For 2028 euros. We were promised when we got this new stadium that was going to be a game changer. It was a game changer to Daniel Levy and the board's pockets. It was a game changer. They weren't lying. That's my rant.
The thing, I completely agree with most of your points. You know, I would say the one thing I do get annoyed about is that I think Spurs fans act like as if you don't spend money. You do spend money, and you spend quite a bit of it. It's not the same amount as Chelsea, but over the last 2 or 3 years, you have spent pretty much the same amount of money as Arsenal. The difference between, as I said, both clubs is that you have spent money poorly on players that you should not have spent that type of money. Brennan Johnson, everybody can see, was not a 50 million pound player. Richarlison, everybody can see, is not a 50 million pound striker. That's 100 million pounds. Then, if we go further than that, you spend 20 million on Jed Spence and 25 million on Emerson Royal, both which.
Stefan, who makes the final call?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. This is
Daniel
the
Levy. He
this. Yeah, but
he gets rid of people who could make better decisions on talent, right?
no, Levy.
Even that guy that came on Talk Sport, that guy who used to work for Tottenham, I forget what's his name, says when it comes to it, Daniel Levy thinks he's a scout. He actually thinks he's a scout.
No, I think Daniel Levy loves the business. Daniel Levy loves the feeling of winning. So basically, I'm gonna screw this guy over and win the transfer battle. So I'm gonna get him for peanuts. Like, for example,
who is the head scout of this club? Is Daniel Levy. He has the final.
I disagree. I disagree with this. Maybe 5-6 years ago, but over the last 2-3 years, the influence of Paratici has been massive. Paratici, if Paratici wasn't there, you would not have signed Romero for 50 million. No chance Daniel Levy is spending 50 million on a Serie A defender. You would not have bought Destiny Udoji for 20 million. Daniel Levy would have preferred to sign a championship left back for 12-15 million. That was his kind of modus operandi before. So there is, Daniel Levy has relinquished the control, I would say, a little bit. The problem is that because he always meddles, it reminds me a lot of the Dallas Cowboys owner, where they have a really good team, but because the owner consistently undermines the system and undermines the coach, the culture of the team is always crap. So Daniel Levy will say, okay, I'm going to give you 2 signings, but we're going to make a cost-effective signing that I like. Manor Solomon, for example. Manor Solomon, the fact that Daniel Levy screwed over Shakhtar Donetsk and got him for free instead of paying the small fee that he had to Shakhtar, that is Daniel Levy all over. I'm reading now the Brennan Johnson transfer. There are some shady dealings there, supposedly, because I'm reading that Brentford had a bid accepted for him a month and a half prior to Spurs getting their bid accepted for 35 million. So there's something very fishy there in terms of their FFP charges that are related also to that transfer that is being investigated. So for me, what you have to focus on is the fact that, some of the things that Ange has done has also screwed him over. This statement here, I'm going to defend Ange. I don't rate him that highly, but every single coach goes through this period. I don't know if I've noticed this. Mourinho went through this. The first year, it's their honeymoon period with Levy, where they say, Spurs is not the typical club like a Man City or a Chelsea that's going to sign, bona fide superstars. We make them into superstars. We want to develop young players. Mourinho said it in the first 6 months. Conte drank the Kool-Aid also in the first 6 months and was going by this. The point is that Ange is very similar to them, in which I have read about him. He has resigned at clubs. He has left the Australia job because he didn't agree. He didn't have a good relationship with the FA. So I think next season you have to get Champions League football. Like, you have to. If you don't get Champions League football, you're not signing anybody really good. Like, you're just not, in my opinion. Like, Spurs need Champions League football to sign the actual top players. If you don't get Champions League football, the same shit is going to happen that happened with Mourinho, where you're not gonna sign Ange's maybe number one or number two signing. You're gonna go down to the third one on the pecking order. They're not gonna be as good. They're not gonna be as the expectations next season, also taken into account, will be much higher than this year. And I just think he'll be primed to fail. And then the second part, which I think you're also missing, is the fact that Ange, this is the biggest look. He's in a losing position. He has no leverage. Mourinho and Conte had leverage because they're like, I'm bigger. Like Mourinho's more decorated than Spurs. I think he's won 28 trophies in his career. So Mourinho could go to Levy and say, listen, man, like I'm the shit. Like I've won like everywhere I've been. I want this player and this player. I can talk however I want. Ange is 60 years old almost. I think deep down he knows that he's not going to get a bigger job than Spurs. He's not going to challenge Levy. I'm sorry, Mark. Like he's just, in my opinion, he's not going to do it.
I'm not disagreeing with you because if those guys, Conte and Mourinho, have to pull teeth to get what they want, and they didn't get what they want, I can only imagine with Ange. Just on Mr. Potato, I'm not saying that we're going to spend 500 mil every. City doesn't spend 500 mil every
No,
summer.
they don't. No, they don't.
No one does. But what I'm saying is, what I have a problem about this comment is, and I want people to understand, it's just that I hate to use this, but this is our show. I use Arsenal as an example. Arsenal needed maybe one more piece, right? If we believe it, Declan Rice, and they did what it takes, right? Right? I mean, I don't call him a superstar. Now he's starting to play like one, Declan Rice, but they saw him as a superstar, as the final piece, right? The same thing Poch needed. Poch like, give me that one more player.
Dybala is the biggest example.
He get us over the top. Right now, you have Liverpool who's going to receive. People say, well, you can't say Liverpool's going to. They will. You can't leave from Klopp to a new coach. As good as Xabi Alonso is, there's going to be regression. It may be
by the way, speaking, wait. Mari, sorry to interrupt you. Speaking on breaking news from really, like probably the most reliable source from English journalists, Xabi Alonso is extremely unlikely to join Liverpool this summer. So Xabi Alonso is almost sure to stay at Bayer Leverkusen. Even the German,
might go, because I heard Bayern might look at Serbia. So if he goes, they're
saying Xabi Alonso is most likely to stay at Bayer Leverkusen because he's waiting on the Real Madrid job.
Okay. So they're regressing. Right now, Chelsea, we don't know how long it's gonna take back. They'll be back. I'm telling you, they'll be back. The bench is still there. Their heads are loose, but it's gonna come back.
It's a shit show.
All right. And United, I actually believe United with Jim Ratcliffe, they will be back. They already poached that guy from Man City. United will be back. So right now, you have Arsenal and City. We have a chance to be part of a big three, right? And it's going to take some. And I understand this is year one. I understand that. Then there's year two. But this comment says, if it gets to year 3 or year 4, we will never make that move to get us over the line. And that's the most discouraging thing, because Potts begged for that, didn't get it, and we fell short. We didn't have enough. And for me, I want to see, you guys heard me rap, I want to see trophies. All I want is success for this club. I want success for this club. And I want us to put no limitations. We will never. No, don't say that, right? And I hope he will, year 2, year 3, because it's year 1. I'm gonna be fair. Year 2, year 3, like, hey, we gotta get Joe Schmo, who the other clubs are going after, right? We're in Champions League, right? You said we got to qualify for Champions League. Let's get this guy, right? If he's going to cost such and such, okay. Because when
he's waiting. João Paulinho, he's right there.
Talent will always bring, for the most part, will bring success. Hoping, getting quantity, and hoping that you get a gem here and there, it does not work. And for us, it definitely has not worked. When you have other clubs that's going to say, you think Arsenal's going to stop adding quality, right? They may win the Premier League this year. You think about, okay, we're done, right? They're going to probably, if they have ambition, they're going to try to add more, right? And other clubs. And that's what I want us to, I want to see quality on this club. And that's what I ask. That's all I ask. Quality over quantity.
But Mark, I think the major issue is you're using Arsenal, you're using Man City. I honestly think this season, Arsenal, there is a chance that Arsenal might not sign a striker because the level that we are at the moment, we need to sign a striker that is guaranteed, like almost pretty much guaranteed. Like in the striker market at the moment, I don't see a striker that is exactly that. So there is a chance, but that is the point. Man City waited 5-6 years until they signed a true striker because they could have afforded to sign whoever they wanted over, but they waited for the right guy. And I think the difference between Arsenal, City, and Spurs, for example, is Spurs don't do that. Levy doesn't do that. If Levy smells a deal where he can feel like he won and he screwed over the other club, like he did with Richarlison, from what I read,
it was a Van der Vaart deal.
The actual Van der Vaart deal where you signed him for only 8 million, I think it was. Even though Van der Vaart was a great signing, like if Levy smells that, he will sign that player because he will feel it's good value based on the, not because it suits the system. Arsenal and Man City and Liverpool have always been Portugal. I've always been for them. Zero. If Bulgaria aren't in the Euros, then I'm for Portugal. So so in terms of like that is the biggest issue, Mari. And until Levy decides to kind of give the coaches true autonomy in terms of transfer decision, in terms of building the squad, it's never going to change. And the saddest thing is, man, like I listened to some podcasts on like the mainstream Spurs stuff, and I don't know how you can. It's just being positive for the sake of being positive, and it's like, like for example, I listened to one podcast I'm not gonna name, but they were talking about the Kulusevski interview. Now, if Kulusevski had been playing for Arsenal or for Man United, and he had gone out and done an interview in which he said, listen, we lost 4-1 to Spurs or to Chelsea or to Man United, but we won in life, he would get absolutely destroyed by the fans of that club. He would be hounded out. At Spurs, people were like a lot of your fan was like celebrating, saying, "Look, Ange is on the right path." No, that doesn't mean Ange. Of course, he's not gonna say Ange is shit. Nobody says that. Go read the interviews given by players in the first 6 months of Conte or of Mourinho. Everybody said everything is great, everything is rosy. Even in the first 3 months of Nuno, go read an interview where a player criticizes Nuno. You're not gonna find that. So just
you gotta look at this. You lost to a rival. I'm not gonna say Bayern.
At home.
I'm not gonna say a club like Bayern or Real Madrid where he will get crucified. Or I'll use Serie A. Let's just say Lazio
lose to Roma.
And a Roma player says that at home, though they share the same stadium, we won in life because we lost 4-1 to Lazio. That player will have to be under Secret Service hiding protection because the fans, the ultras, will hang that person, would have hanged that player, let alone the media would have.
No, but who
100%.
like?
Mark put it. He would not say that at any other big club.
No, but who's it? Like, I just want to know. I just want to know who his PR agent is. He needs to get fired, or she needs to get fired. How can you let him say that and say, "Listen, this is."
And you know how I feel about Kulu. So
no, and And then not only that, Mari. Like if this was Son, because Son is having a good season, or Van de Ven, you'd be like, okay, like this is terrible mentality, but still. But Kulu's having a shit season, and you're going out talking like, how about instead of winning in life, play better on the field? You play one good game in like 6 or 7 games. You haven't had a good season since the first 6 months of your time at Spurs when you came from Juventus.
He's living through that. I'm not talking about credit. He's living still on that credit, and it's run out for me. It's run out.
Oh, it's for you. It's been run out since last season. So yeah, you've never rated him, but forget that. But I just and even like just some of the stuff that that just I don't know. I just, of course, me as an Arsenal fan, I enjoy to see you guys in like as a circus or in chaos. But sometimes I'm also confused as how like our fans when we were down in the dumps, we went to protest. We were cronky out. We I think 5 or 10,000 people showed up in front of the Emirates with with banners, with protests. And it's just your fan base continuously does that, and then when you ask your the biggest thing I don't get is you have like the fan base has this elitist attitude. I've always told you, like if you ask them why don't you do like Man United, call off a game against Liverpool, or Arsenal protest, or Chelsea protest, like protest in front of the stadium, they'll say we're not Chelsea or Man United or Arsenal, we're Tottenham. Like what are you trying? Like, are you trying to say that you're better than these clubs that you can't protest? So for me, I think the biggest issue is that, and I don't know why your fans accept this now. You've won one trophy since Levy has taken over. It was a League Cup. You haven't been to an FA Cup final since the 90s, which is your most successful competition. Like, you haven't you challenged for the league, I would say once maybe in the last like 20-30 years. Like, it's just, for me, it's I don't know. I don't know.
Ben, big up, man. We don't need a protest. We are winning.
We're winning in life. Yeah.
We don't need a protest. I posted the link. Please, it's only for Michael. It is only for Michael. It is only for Michael, please.
I know, and then sorry to continue. After raising, what's up, Mike? After raising the ticket prices, the guy announces that he's building a new hotel as part of the fucking I don't know, like who does the PR? Does he like? I just think he doesn't care.
The way you see where the hotel is going to be. I don't know if you see the picture where it is by the stadium, and it is the perfect example what we've been complaining about. It's literally on top of the stadium, like literally that hotel.
No, forget. Like it's a great idea. Like, I think it's a great business idea. But you're raising ticket prices, okay? You're raising ticket prices to raise another I think someone did an analysis, like 2 or 3 million the year, which is fucking peanuts. Like, that hotel is gonna get you 2 or 3 million just from the Euros. That hotel is probably gonna get you probably at least 10 to 20 million just from when you host the Euros and people have to stay there, and just people stay to go watch Spurs. All the Korean fans, how much money? All the Korean fans are going to use the hotel. So for me, it's so tone deaf that I'm starting to honestly believe what Stel says. I honestly do believe now that Levy just doesn't give a shit, Mari. He doesn't care. He just doesn't care.
Doesn't. Michael, I know you just came on, and we're going to do the team of the year before we do weekend predictions. But have you seen these comments? Sorry to hide your face. I'm going to take it off. But I'll read it. He says, this is from Fabrizio Romano. This is from from today. It's not just stars for the future, but also solid players. I don't expect any superstars. We know Tottenham's strategy is different from this. It's always been this strategy. 24 years. 24 years, right? Don't change it, right? You don't adjust it. The strategy of Spurs is to sign 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's what we usually do. Different players rather than one superstar. This is the clear project of the club. And I just want to throw out there, I'm not saying every summer we sign 2 players. One is at 100 million, one is at 8. I'm not saying that. But this comment concerns me because it's like sooner or later you're going to need that 1 or 2 players to get over the line. And you may have to do what Arsenal just did, like 100 mil for Declan Rice. You think Arsenal fans are complaining or crying? Because it's worked out, right? Declan Rice has proved his worth, right? Yes, it involves some scouting, right? Some good solid scouting, but like you're going to have to eventually get quality to really be a team that is going to win the Premier League and hopefully stay on top, stay relevant. And it's just like
Arsenal signed guaranteed quality. That would they get with Rice's signing. He guarantees you quality. Spurs signed players that Van de Ven, for example. Let's be honest, he was talented, but nobody expected Van de Ven to be this good. Nobody. And that's the point. Yeah.
Gosh, I want to go to the next subject. I know I'm gonna go to the next subject. Maybe Adrian watches the other league. Michael, let me get your opinion on the transfer.
So you know, it's honestly such a difficult position to be in as a fan because you know, you've had plenty of shows with me. I always try to like stay balanced. I try to not go too far to one side, right? Which is sometimes a bane of mine, which is why I often try to like take too much time into like delving deep into the, you know, the quotes, etc. Right? And honestly, and it's the same thing with Kulusevski, by the way, because like you boys were talking about Kulusevski, right? I think I completely agree with Stefan. Whoever is his PR agent should get fired on the spot. Listen, yeah. I get that. Like English is not his first language, but come on, he's Swedish. He fucking knows English. It's not like
he speaks English very well.
Yeah, he speaks English very well, right? And I kind of get what he meant, but that doesn't change the fact that when you put those words on like a headline of an article, it will sound like you are a bloody bottle job and basically a little bitch, right? Because you lost to your biggest rivals at home 1-4 and you say you won in life, right? Yeah, listen, I hit up on a chick. Yeah, I hit up on a chick in the club. My best friend, you know, takes her home, and suddenly I won in life because I got to talk with a nice chick, right? Like
oh my god, that's the best. Michael, that's the best example, man. That's exactly it.
That's basically it, right? And it's of course not to use the same like comparison with what Ange said, right? But I kind of understand what he meant. I think what he meant is that we need to build a squad, right? And to build you build a squad by buying 4 players, not 1 player, right? But again, for us Tottenham fans who've been building a squad for past 24 years, right? And we never reached that magical squad, right? That we want. We had a squad under Pochettino, but we actually had 12 players, and all the rest of them were completely garbage, right? And we always were trying to build a squad, always trying together. And as you said, Mari, sometimes even to just shut us up, basically, just give us something to be excited about, right? I am not against buying 3, 4, 30 million players. If you scouted them properly and you think they are going to fit the squad, go for it. I am all for buying squad players that will be useful when we have like fixture congestions, and you know we have a lot of fixtures in a week, right? You will need a squad, right? But we also need quality. Unfortunately, it's not the Polish league where you can spend like 1 million euros on a fucking star, right? And be the best club in the league, right? You need to spend big money on players that will get you over the line exactly what you said, Mari, right? And this is so bloody frustrating as a Spurs
Right.
fan, right?
Michael, and right now I'm gonna say this too. Sonny's about to turn 32 years old.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
do not have a successor for him.
No, Mark.
Let alone,
You don't have a
we're
plan.
lucky he has not complained like Harry Kane to leave this club because quality. I can't think of anybody else on this team of quality.
Of his quality. Exactly,
Of his
right?
quality.
You're not gonna replace.
I can't think of anybody.
No, you're not gonna find
32, by the way, not 33.
Yeah, 32. Like, are we going to sign a quality person who can be a successor for him? Because, mind you, as a fan of this club, I went from Berbatov to Defoe, Bale,
Pavlyuchenko.
Kane,
Pavlyuchenko was good.
Kane's son, and now I don't know who. I don't know who's the successor. Because as long as I've been a Spurs fan, at least there's been someone left behind. Right now, I can't confidently say who is going to pass that the baton from Sonny. I can't think of it.
Especially because it's in the forward line, right? Because I think you can make a case. Maybe if we somehow keep hold of Van de Ven, right? I think the guy has a lot of potential. I think he can be a superstar, right? But he won't stay here if we keep basically. He won't stay.
I guarantee you, in 2 years. In 2 years, if he continues to play like this, but Bayern Munich are gonna sign him. Bayern Munich,
Bayern, Liverpool,
Real Madrid, or even scared, or you know it might happen. If Man United get back to the old Man United, they used to love to sign Spurs as best players. Man United signed him for a big one. Berbatov.
Yeah, but my point was, it's a defender, right? Like, of course, you need like a class defense to win something, right? But it's the forward players that usually get you over the line, right? And you need like this class forward player, as you said, Mari. Ever since like Berbatov, or you can even make like aerial claims with like Klinsmann and other guys, right? Tottenham throughout like most of its history had like a class striker or a winger or someone we could rely on to score us the goals, to actually like not get us over the line in terms of like winning the trophies, but to actually make us like a respectable, let's say, team. Respectable in terms of like, we are actually quite good because of them, right? But not like good enough to win shit, right? Especially in the last like 15 to 16 years, right? But yeah, as you said, like I kid you not, I hope they have a successor for Son. They have someone in mind, so that when Son, whenever it is, right? Because like I think like Son still has 2-3 years in him. I think 2 years, right?
Minimum.
After 2 years, as much as I love him, I think when he hits like 35 or something, 35-year-old wingers are impact players, not the main starters, right? Simply purely due to how his body works, his legs will start to fall off, right? Like, trust me, it's coming from a guy who watched like Lewandowski grow into a superstar, and suddenly his legs are starting to go now, and it's not his fault.
He's still really good. Come on.
I'm not saying he's not good. I'm saying that he's like physically he's not how he used to be. He's old, right? It's purely because of the time passing, right? Purely the time starts to weigh in on his legs, right? And similar thing will happen to Sonny. And we can't wait for Sonny to retire and only then think about the successor, right? We need to have someone in mind so that we can slowly start phasing Son out if he wants to retire at our club, right? If he wants to retire here, then we have to get a guy that will basically be playing under him and then over him for like 2 or 3 years, right? And to slowly phase such a world-class player that we have on our hands out, right? That's the way it should be.
Let's get to C Cube and Agent just came in, because I do want to get to the next topic. I posted do you guys need me to post the comments that Ange or
No,
you
I
guys?
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them. They've been making the rounds and everything.
Yeah.
You know what? I will say in response to you, Michael, though, like, I don't think that we have to have an exact successor to Son. If we actually had a group of really good players that were all forwards that could all contribute to goals, which
Yeah.
everybody claimed that was what we were going to do under Ange, that, you know, everybody was going to pitch in with the goals and we weren't going to rely on just one player. But the problem is that that's not what we're doing. So if everybody's saying that, you know, like, you know, well, we need a successor for Son, then why are we doing the same thing that we were doing before, which is relying on one player to get all the goals? Like, we would be in relegation form last season if Harry Kane wasn't in our club.
Yeah.
I actually believe that we would be in relegation form. But we keep relying, and for the last 2 years, 3 years, we've been relying on Son and Kane to make us actually like kind of compete in the upper, you know, part of the table. So that, you know, I don't think that we have to have exactly a successor to Son. We need to get a general, you know, good players around and that can all contribute, because our, you know, other teams don't necessarily rely on just one player. You know, so at least the best teams don't. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I think that Ange's comments are not at all surprising. I don't know,
Yeah, it's not
like
we
why
are
people are
surprised.
so surprised, like, you know, oh my gosh, you know, they're like reacting so strongly to it, just because it's not surprising, because this is what he has in his, you know, coaching career, has been known to like find, you know, players that are not that expensive, that are kind of like, you know, he's turned into better players. Like, that's kind of like his deal. Like, he's never been known to be a coach to spend a lot of money on players. Granted, he's been at clubs that don't have as much money to spend, but still, even within the construct of those clubs, he still didn't necessarily spend a lot of money. So I don't think that his comments are that shocking. And to be totally honest, like, I don't really have that big of a problem with it. And I'll tell you why. The reason why is because as long as our recruitment is good, and if we're going to sign players that are, you know, not stars or whatever, if our recruitment is good and we sign players that are going to actually contribute and kick off and actually be good, solid players, then that's fine. And I have to look at this summer to see if that's what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, we will need to see if we sign some players that we haven't heard of before, and then we have to look at next season to see if those players are actually good or not. So I'm willing to do that. That being said, I agree with you in the sense that it is annoying that, given how much money we have, that we will never go and sign a player that is actually like proven that we know is good. You know, it is annoying that we don't do that. Like, we didn't even get Madison for like big money. But when he came in and we signed him, we were like, oh my God, thank God. We actually signed a player that's Prem proven, that we know is good in the Prem. Like, oh my gosh, this was like such a big deal, because we never do that. We never go and sign a proven Prem player that we know is good and has been consistently good. Like, Richarlison is not that. Brennan Johnson is not that. Madison's like the only player that I can think of in recent years that we've actually signed that's a Prem proven good player.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like, but we got him at a discount because that's the Levy way, right? So it would be really nice, you know, if we could actually do that for, you know, for once, you know, under my name, you could see that I say as a recruitment team. But anyways, you know, it would be nice if we could actually do that. But I don't expect us to do that, because we never do that, first of all. And second of all, that's not really Ange's deal anyways. But I actually, before we move on, I actually do have one thing that I wanted to vent about briefly. Maybe not briefly, but all of you, I'm sure, have seen the announcement, which I said was coming down the pipeline for like 2 months, because there are rumors about it. For 2 months, I said it was coming down the pipeline. This Bayern v Spurs friendly in the summer.
Oh.
I was talking about it. So I was talking about it. So if you guys remember, I might have even mentioned it on this stream. Like, I actually was talking about it for the past like 2 months, and I was like, this is the stupidest idea. I know what's going to happen. It might be in Korea. I don't know, but this is the stupidest idea I've ever heard. So now they announced it. Okay. So I have a little rant about this, okay? For people that are Levy in, that don't give him like shit about this stuff, okay? First of all, look at what's going on with senior concessions. So, there's already showing you what kind of money grubbing he is, right? But with the Bayern game, this is some cuckold shit, okay? That is some damn cuckold shit that he's playing, okay? So, I mean, she's trying to get us to like watch Harry Kane, our best ever goal scorer, highest ever goal scorer, scored goals against us in our stadium. For fuck's sake, is that just not the biggest cuckold shit ever? That's a guy being like, what the hell? What the hell? Let me show you that I'm such a fucking cuckold that I'm going to take this, guy who is, I'm going to not only, have a guy fuck my girl in front of me, I'm going to have, her ex do it. Like, what the hell is that shit? What the hell is that shit? Like, he is actually he cares about the money so much that he is having our best ever goal scorer, who, by the way, he will score. Because he always scores.
Yeah.
He will score. He's not going to celebrate. I don't think he's going to celebrate, but he will score. I don't care if it's a friendly or whatever. He's going to score against us in our stadium. It's one thing if we have to play them in the UCL or whatever, right? Or, we're playing somebody in the prime, whatever it is, right? But we don't have to play him. We don't have to. And he's going to do that. He's going to do that to us. And then what's even worse, okay, is that when they announced it as, we're going to be playing 6-time European champions Bayern Munich. What the fuck is that? Some salt in the wounds? Seriously, we can't get our ass a trophy. And he has the audacity to announce us playing him with 6-time, bigging them fucking up. 6-time European champion. Salt in the wound. We can't win a trophy. Oh, and a reminder that, you know what? He left us because we can't fucking win a trophy for 6-time European trophy winners, Bayern Munich. What is that shit? Okay. So all of you all that might be Levy in, that is Coy's Daniel right there. He is a true
show it, buddy, show it. That's the reason of the year. That's the reason why I have it for over a year.
I get your argument, right? I get your argument. And I agree with what you're saying because you're making a valid argument. But just to counter it, I've been to the stadium, I only live a mile and a half from the ground. I've been to the stadium for academy games when they hold them there, women's football, stuff like that. But what it does, a game like Bayern Munich, what it will do, it will give, like what I've seen at the stadium, parents with kids that are 4 or 5 years of old with a concession, a chance to actually go to the stadium for the first time and see a game. So
no. We don't need to. We don't need to. We don't need to.
You think it's going to be a Levy money spinner
in order to do that.
Fine. If you disagree with me, that's fine. I haven't got a problem. I respect everyone's opinion. Always do.
Yeah.
But to me, it gives them that advantage. Now, the only thing, it was like the game they're going to play in Melbourne earlier at the end of the season, right? I've heard a lot of brouhaha about that, right? Now, I'm not against that, and I'm glad it's early. And for the simple reason, our last season's pre-season was an absolute shambles. We went away, we played in Australia, we would play a game, jump on the plane, go to Asia, play a game, jump on the plane. The next game was rained off. We didn't get a game, play a game in the Middle East or something, come back to the stadium. With no, there was no concern about players' welfare at all. This was like one big rush job. And then prior to the start of the season, we had a pre-season friendly, right? Now that really got under my skin. I've always believed that if you're going to arrange a pre-season tour, and maybe Arsenal and other teams did it better than us because they went away earlier last year than us, I think Stefan could correct me if I'm wrong, but you should be back, especially if you get new signings in, you should be back at your training ground with at least a month to work with the players. not 2 weeks like last season. It was an absolute amateurish joke last season when we came back to the training ground. There was no, even Sonny, he came back from the competition, right? He was away. So, like, he didn't have a proper preseason.
But I think you're missing the gist. This is not Daniel Levy out of his own kindness of his heart saying, hey, guys, we're going to do a preseason game for kids and families, and we're going to bring mighty Harry Kane and Bayern to come back.
Did he write that in the
This
promo?
is more of a, this
That
is
was
more
part of the deal, wasn't it?
This is more like promoting like a big, Anthony Joshua fight in the stadium. It's more of
Other thing is, I don't have a problem with us playing friendlies. Why do we need to play Bayern Munich where we're going to actually have Harry Kane score against us? Why does it need to be
That's
that?
true.
Why does it need to be?
Yeah, but
We can play somebody else.
Come on.
And we
Come on,
usually
guys.
do play somebody else.
When
Why
we go
does it
to
have to be?
Australia to play in Melbourne, right? And when we play Bayern Munich, do you think both managers are going to play their strongest lineups? Of course, they're going to use it.
It doesn't matter. Why are we playing Bayern Munich? I think everybody needs to get to the point of the matter. I'm not talking about us playing friendly games. I'm not talking about us playing games in our stadium. I'm talking about us playing against Harry Kane.
a ticket of my season ticket. It won't be that.
I understand
like
you, 100%.
Mother, father, and 2 kids can go for like 50 quid. That's what it'll be.
Oh my God, you're missing the point. You're completely missing. I get that you have your opinion on it, and I actually agree with you, but you're completely missing my point. My point is not about us playing friendlies. My point is not about us playing games in the stadium. My point is specifically, why do we have to play Bayern Munich, which is Harry Kane, who is a goal scorer, who will inevitably score against us? Do you want to see? Let me ask you a question, Adrian. Do you want to see Harry Kane score in our stadium against us? Harry Kane specifically.
Who cares? He's moved.
What if he doesn't score? And what difference does it make? What if he doesn't score?
He's
why is your owner so much on Harry Kane, CQ?
Yeah.
It would be Spurs playing Bayern in a friendly, which is a part of the Kane project.
It's not about that.
We're going to probably play in Scotland.
No. It's not about that. It's just the point of the matter. It's the point that Levy doesn't give a shit. That's the point. The point is that Levy doesn't give a shit. It's not that I'm crying over Kane or anything. I'm just saying that he just doesn't give a shit about what that might feel like to some of the fans.
Okay, let me just wait, Andrew. Let me just. I think you guys are focusing on the wrong friendly. Does it look bad? Does it look like what C-Cube described? First of all, I'm just going to point this out. If England go far in the Euros, it's almost guaranteed that Harry Kane will barely play in that game. So I know it's shitty. I agree with C-Cube. It looks terrible. Again, lack of PR. But for me, the biggest problem friendly. What the fuck why are you guys playing a preseason friendly on the 22nd? What is that? It is such a bad
Newcastle game. That Newcastle game you're talking about.
The Newcastle.
Yeah. Why are you everybody over like 3 days
that's a fucking joke.
You guys are focusing. That is the problem. First of all, that friendly is so bad that I think from the Football Association, not even the Players Association, the player welfare group had a complaint against that game, because how can you travel after the last game of the season all the way to Australia? I think in Melbourne. Is it in Melbourne?
Yeah.
You have to travel. You have to travel, I don't know how many hours, probably 24 hours to get there.
24, 29.
Yeah, change 13, 14 time zones, and then play that game, and then start. And then the difference, what Adrian said, was that if you look at Man City's scheduling when it comes to preseason, or Arsenal's or Man United, Arsenal's love to do theirs in the US. But in the US, what they have is that it's really accessible because you go to different places, and the facilities in the US are amazing. So you can train. And also the time difference between the UK and the US is only 3 to 5 hours. So it's not that difficult to acclimatize. So Arteta doesn't mind going to the US. We also did the Far East, but we didn't do it like Spurs. I remember under Wenger, we went to Indonesia, Malaysia, and I think Thailand. So we went to 3 countries that were super close to each other. What you guys did was try to maximize the amount of
Korea and Malaysia.
Like you guys tried to maximize the amount of football, and not only that, I think you went to one of them during monsoon season.
Yeah, the Leicester game got called off.
It's
yeah.
monsoon season out there anyway.
Stupidity.
It's monsoon season out there anyway that time of year.
No, but
get
Adrian,
one,
it's okay. It's monsoon season, so why do you fucking plan a game during monsoon season?
Because same for Newcastle fans, right? They know their team's going to play Spurs now, Australia. Fine, it gives the Australian fans a chance that support both teams to watch those teams play. Well, they're not going to play full-strength teams out there after the season's ending. I mean, there'll be youngsters and academy players who'll get run-outs, right? Obviously, it's not going to happen, right? Even when we do the later tour. My concern is not even with the Bayern Munich game, because you got the Euros coming up, and I haven't delved into the fact what time players were given off holidays this year because of the Euros. If they have holidays at all, I don't know, right? I haven't looked into that yet. I will, but I haven't looked into it yet because we're not that far into the season, right? My only concern is can we at least be professional this year and have the players back, especially if we've got new signings in early, so as the manager can work with them for at least a month before the next season starts.
That's not happening,
Adrian. Well, yeah, it might not happen because if you bring international players in, they may be away on duty with their teams, right? I get that, right? It may not happen, but it might happen if you bring a player in who's not right, a full international, who's not had international experience as of yet, So I want the squad back in time. I thought it was an absolute shambles last year, right? The way we went about our preseason, it was an absolute shambles.
But Adrian, you're playing 3 days. You're playing 3 days after the season.
Yes, but what you're doing is you're predicting doom and gloom because if you're thinking, right, that somehow something bad will happen, or you're predicting that the first team 11 of Newcastle and Spurs will play each other in Melbourne straight after. You don't even know who's going to be playing.
But Adrian, you know Son will go. You know Son will go.
He will go.
Even if they
will
don't
play,
play.
Michael?
What?
Okay. Well, let's go. Let's go to the next.
That doesn't matter. He's still.
We got a couple of things that we got to talk about.
Okay, let's move on, guys. Let's move on.
Just a couple of sentences, right?
I love the debates.
The issue is there are international competitions right after the fucking season. That's the issue. They will
give them rest.
Break. And Son, no matter if he plays or not, he will have to take a 24-hour flight to Australia and then come back to Korea or wherever else he wants, instead of spending time with his family, resting, and basically doing his thing, right? And as soon as that trip to Australia ends, international competition starts, international competition ends, and he will play every single game during the international competition, right? He comes back, has another preseason tour with us. There is pretty much no break after the internationals, right? And 2 seasons later, the season starts. He literally will have no free time. The players need to have a break. That's the issue, right? If there were no Euros, no Asian Cups.
In between the 2 years where there isn't a World Cup or European Championship, there's only 2 seasons when the players get a full break. If not, they're in the Euros or in the World Cup.
Yes,
right?
But
I'm not talking about the players that are African and are African Nation content or Asian or in the Asian Cup, things like that. But there's only 2 seasons. So that always happens. You're always going to have that congestion where players may have to adjust, not take a holiday that year. I mean, I don't know what players do for holidays this year.
We got to move on.
Now that we have the Euros.
Okay, let's move on. But let's move on. Let's move. But
all right. So the next topic I want to talk about, Adrian, you can stay on. I don't know how much other teams that you watch EPL, but we're going to do the best EPL team so far. We're going to try to be as best not to be as biased, but we are coming with the EPL team so far. I've seen some other shows, seen some interesting things. I've seen not so interesting things, but let's take a quick vote. Well, it's going to be interesting. because
Start goalie.
right here we have a 4-4-2. We could, or do we want a 4-4-3?
No, 4-3-3.
4-3-3.
Let's go 4-3-3.
Yeah,
4-4-2 is outdated.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go 4-3-3. All right, so let's start with keeper. Like I said, I've heard some interesting things for keeper. I think for the most part, for keeper, the nominees, Val clubs, just Vicario, Raya, there's
No,
Allison.
Raya? Really?
Well, no, he was a nominee. Allison.
For me, you guys are gonna be surprised. For me, the best keeper this year, if you read stats and from what I've watched, also, it's between two keepers. It's between Vicario, but the guy who has better stats than Vicario is the Luton keeper. He's been amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Kamiński. Yeah, Kamiński's been amazing. Polish guy. You guys always have great keepers.
He's Belgian, but yeah.
Oh, he's Belgian.
Yeah. I don't.
Michael will go for him.
No. He has Polish father and Belgian mother, and he's like he chose Belgium as his nationality, right? But yeah, there is a bit of Polish in him, right? So
yeah. He's a
Thank you,
hybrid,
So who is your vote? We'll start with Michael. Who is your vote for keeper so far for the EPL?
So before we even start the rest of them, I know the Spurs fans in the chat will absolutely cook me, but I kid you not. Like, if you expect me to choose 6 Spurs players, then you are wrong. Like, just giving that.
It's not going to be 6 Spurs on the team. It's going to be.
With goalkeepers, basically for me, I'm surprised with Kamiński with what Stefan said. I didn't know that he has like good stats. That's why I didn't really consider him, right? But for me, it's basically between Alisson, Raya, and Vicario. And the reason why I include Raya is because you guys are the best defense in the league and you have the most clean sheets, as far as I know, in the league, or you are tied for the most clean sheets.
No,
right?
we're tied with City.
So based on that, I think it requires recognition for that, right? I think if you like look at like goals prevented and XG stopped and whatever, I think, like as you said, Vicario is probably like the best stats wise other than Kamiński. Which is
Kamiński's been amazing every time I've watched him.
I know I just said the caveat with Spurs players, but I think just a little bit of bias will shine through, and I would like to go for Vicario. I think like his standalone performances in some of the games where he absolutely saved our ass were amazing. And even though he conceded a shitloads of goals, it's not necessarily his fault in majority of the cases. So I would say I'm picking Vicario, but I'm not against picking Raya, Alisson, or even Kamiński if somebody wants to go for him, right?
Okay.
So you go with Vicario?
Yeah, for me, Vicario.
Stefan?
I think Michael is just recency bias with that. Alisson has been shit this year. I don't know what people have been watching. He was horrendous against Arsenal. He was horrendous against Man City. That was a shit show. Yeah. He was horrendous against Man City. He's had a number of clangers this year. He's been injured for I think now almost 2 months. So I can't put Alisson in based on the fact that he's been injured. I think I told you it's between 2 keepers, and it's between Vicario and Kamiński, based on the fact that if we're talking about pure stats and metrics, Kamiński is a bit better, goals prevented and stuff like that. But I mean, Vicario plays for a bigger team, more pressure. So I'm going to probably edge it towards Vicario. But I would like to do a special mention ever since of course, I'm biased since the start of the year. I thought David Raya has really played really, really well. And he's been a key piece of why our defense is so solid. So I would put Raya third, behind those 2 keepers. So yeah, Adrian.
Yeah, this is a hard one, isn't it? Especially when you've seen your own keeper be an absolute revelation, to come in and do what he's done.
Oh, I forgot about Areola. Fuck.
I-
Yeah, he's been.
There you go.
I've
Yeah.
always liked the Man City goalkeeper, Edison.
Edison.
Yeah, I've always liked him. I've always, if you picked him, Ellison as his best, and I would pick him over Alisson. I would pick him over Alisson this season. But I've see, it's not a question of just being biased. It's a question I've seen so much more of Vicario this season, what he's done. So I just haven't seen better. I haven't seen enough of Raya. I know Arsenal's defence has been superb this season, as is, so. And Stefan would have obviously seen a lot more of his goalkeeper than we have. But it has to be Vicario for me, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go quickly. I don't want to go too long. I'm gonna. I have in my top 3. I have Raya. The only thing that hurts him, doesn't hurt the team, is that his defense is so good that he doesn't have to do more. But when those shots do come, it is difficult when you're bored and that shot does come. So then I think Alisson is having a great year. Personally, yeah. But I gotta move on. But I would go with Vicario. But I don't think he's having a bad year. I think he's having a good year. So I'm gonna go with Vicario.
I can name you at least 4 games where Alisson was absolute dog shit. Brighton away, he made a terrible mistake. Man City, Arsenal. Like, I can name you 4 or 5 games where he conceded clear goals, where he was horrendous. And not only that, he's missed 2 months of the season. How you guys have put it I forgot about him, by the way. Areola this season has been amazing.
Like
I'm gonna knock off David Raya from my top 3 and put Areola, because Areola this season has saved West Ham's ass in so many games. So I'm gonna put Vicario as my number 1, Kaminsky and Areola.
Stefan, what about Martinez at Villa?
Martinez at Villa hasn't been that good this year in terms of compared to last season from the games that I have watched personally. So and by the way, Adrian, I just want to point out, Ederson, you really rate him as a pure goalkeeper in terms of his stats. He is awful, Adrian. He's in like the bottom 3 goalkeepers in terms of goals prevented.
I can only go on what I see. I haven't seen the stats.
Yeah, I get it, but
in the games, this is the thing you see. You see players in the game, you think, oh, he looks good, or he's good, or he looks shit, right? But I'm an eye test merchant more than a stats man. So
we gotta go. We gotta go to the next.
I can only judge on what I've seen.
I just want to point out to Danny's comment. I would disagree with Danny. I would say Vicario has won you games, but I would say Raya has been more influential at Arsenal, because the thing they can't see with David Raya is how he helps control the game and how he calms everything down. I want anybody to go watch a game with Aaron Ramsdale compared to when David Raya plays. It's night and day in terms of the calmness, the playing out of from the back. David Raya, the reason why Arsenal could see so many chances is because we make almost 0 mistakes playing out from the back, and he is one of the key reasons why.
Okay, I gotta go to the next one. So we have.
Right back.
I want to say
Right
is this the right or left? To my left. Okay, I'm sitting down. Okay,
just
so
right back, man. Just put right back. That's
where you have your mouth is the right back. Usually.
So let's look at the right back candidates, and we'll start with Stefan. Who is your right?
You guys are gonna be surprised by this one. After watching him for so long, I think he's been the most consistent. Diogo Dalot for Man United.
Dalot, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Dalot for Man United.
I'm gonna go for him this season. I've been quietly impressed in terms of he does have maybe one.
He's been the best player other than Kobe Mano.
For sure. He's never injured. He's always fit. He played left back a lot of times. He played right back. But whenever he's played right back, I've been super impressed with how he plays against the big time players. In terms of he's defended really well.
He did a good job on Saka.
He did a really good job on Saka. He did a really good job against Doku. So for me, I'm gonna put him there. I would Ben White ever
Ben
since
White-
the start of the year has
yeah,
been amazing.
Ben White's been
But
good.
but he
Gusto
was
has
terrible.
been good.
But he
Gusto
was
has been
terrible.
good. Gusto has been
Uh,
good the last couple games.
Yeah, I would put Diogo Dalot, second Pedro Porro, and then third,
Porro has been good. Porro has
and then third Ben White, because Ben White's first 3 months were horrendous. He was terrible.
Yeah, he was terrible because they'll call him Ben Shite, but he's turning around since January.
He's been the best right back since January in my Ben White, but his first 3 months were terrible.
All right, we got a vote for Dallo. Adrian,
I'm going for Carl Walker. I think he's just matured with age.
Carl
Yeah,
Walker?
I am. No, I am. He's matured with age. He's captain. He's shut out loads of opposing strikers, wingers, and all that. Yeah, I mean, I just think the guy's quality, even at his age now, he's still that good. He's definitely England's best right back, without a shadow of a doubt. And he can play at centre back as well. So, yeah, no, Carl Walker for me.
Trippier. No, Trippier has been horrible
Are
this
you
year.
kidding me? Trippier? Yeah, statistically, Trippier has been the best right back for the opposition, maybe.
The big games, Trippier not for me. He's stunk.
Trippier for like first 3 months of the season,
Yeah.
I think he was quite good. He was like contributing a lot going forward, etc. But as soon as like the injury crisis started at Newcastle, he has been the standing
bad.
like he was so bad. And like listen, the guy is like 32. Of course, like he with that amount of fixtures and minutes that he played, of course, like it will have a like an effect on his performance. But the scale of the effect was absolutely like atrocious in some of the games.
Who do you got, Michael? It's when you got those 10 assists. Yeah.
I don't care if he got those 10 assists. He can't defend. Like when people use that, oh, he got 10 assists. Yeah, okay, watch him defend against Son and against Martinelli and all these players that he played. He was absolutely horrendous.
You know, I actually have 3 candidates, and the issue for me is I know that's not what we are doing here, but depending on the way we would want to use a right back, I would choose a different player. I think if you wanted to have like a defensive-minded right back, in my opinion, that would be probably Dalot. I think out of like the 3 candidates I have in mind, I think he did the most solid job defensively out of the 3. I think if you wanted to have an overlapping fullback, it would be Ben White. I think he's absolutely amazing at like the crossing and basically being the support for Saka. And I think if you wanted to have an inverted fullback, I would choose Porro, because I think he's like the best in terms of like passing and stuff, right? And being basically like dribbling and carrying the ball. So that's why I'm a bit torn. I don't really know who to pick. And I'm leaning towards Ben White, but it's really hard for me because like Ben White first 3 months he was shit, right? That's why
he wasn't shit, Michael. He was horrendous. He was
horrendous, right? Diogo Dalot right now he is in his like good form, but Diogo Dalot is really like up and down. This is what this season. But I'm waiting for the drop because it usually happens, right? And with Porro, I think like going forward, especially when Maddison was injured, his set pieces, etc. I think he was really contributing like a shitload.
He was our only creator.
Yeah, he was our only creator, right? But I think there were games where defensively he got absolutely cooked, and he's a defender after all, right? So. And Trent got injured. I think I would pick Trent, but Trent got injured 3 months ago or something.
He's been injured. He's been injured.
Yeah, he's been injured. That's the point, right? I would pick Trent like 3 months ago or 2 months ago, but right now I can't because he hasn't played for a long time, right? So yeah, it's honestly hard. I don't know.
It's gotta be the low, man. The low's been the most consistent.
I was gonna go for Dalot too.
I think I will agree too.
If we were doing since 2024, yeah, I would say Ben White. If we were doing in the first 2 months, I would say Porro. But I think Dalot has always been stably good. Ben White was terrible. Before that, Porro has dipped since the start of the year. So it's like Diogo Dalot is the only one that's been good always. He's always put a 6 or a 7 out of 10. No matter
it's
what.
mad that we got a United player in that.
All right. So let's go to center backs. There's a lot of good ones. We'll start with Adrian and then we'll go to me. There's a lot of good center backs.
This is definitely there's definitely going to be a big debate here. Let's go.
Yes, really good debate. And I mean, I'll really say this. I'll quickly say mine. I have Virgil van Dijk and Gabriel. I think.
Oh my! Oh, I'm gonna lose it.
We'll go to Adrian. We'll go to Adrian. And Gabriel has been the best defender in the league.
Right centre back or left centre back?
Oh, right center back. Adrian.
Yeah, start with right.
So go ahead, Adrian.
Hmm.
Your 2 center backs.
Yeah, you could.
And I mentioned to Braithwaite for Everton. I want that kid, but City looks like they're gonna get him. But
Yeah,
go
no
ahead.
one's got £100 million for him. Well,
I think it's
Gabriel's
really
been
easy.
good, isn't he? What I've seen, the little I've seen, he's been very good. I could be biased and go for Romero. Has been outstanding. He's been booked on the last 10 games. His stats are excellent, though.
Yeah, but your defense is shit.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean to say the players the players don't have good haven't played well.
Van de Ven has been far better than Romero. Far better.
Oh, but Romero's twice. This is what gets me. Van de Ven, listen, I love him to death, but Romero's twice the player Van de Ven is.
Oh my
technically.
god.
Oh,
Yes, he is technically.
Stop.
He is technically. Okay, you tell me then, where is VDV? He's got his pace, which everyone loves him for. He's got us out of loads of trouble.
Got his
I love him to
pace.
death. And they're both different styles, so we're comparing apples with oranges anyway, like we do with lots of players. But Romero, technically, he's better. He's better in virtually every area than Van de Ven, apart from pace.
No.
Technically, he
I
is.
think no. I disagree. I think Van de
Fair
Ven.
enough. I respect your opinion.
No. In terms of, if you ask me where I think Van de Ven reads the game far more, far better than Romero.
No,
I think
not in a million years.
this hype that Romero is really good on the ball.
No,
I think he's really overrated. I think there's far better defenders in the Premier League than him on the ball. I think John Stones is better than him on the ball. I think Saliba is better than him on the ball.
Well, I would have to disagree there because Romero's intelligent awareness is second to none. His interception, when he spots danger immediately and reads the game so well and comes across
He doesn't read the game well. And when he's in
the right back position with his back to a defender who's trying to close him out, he doesn't kick the ball in the touch.
Okay, Adrian. Okay, I just want to
tries to recycle it. No, listen, I love both players. I don't like comparing Spurs players, especially when they're different. One's left foot, one's right foot, and it's comparing apples with oranges, height-wise, pace-wise. Van de Ven is always going to have the edge on pace on anyone in the Premier League. But I mean, I like John Stones. I like John Stones. I think he's been great. But I mean,
no, for me, it's between Van Dijk or Saliba. It's between those two players. Like Saliba, Arsenal have by far the best. It's not even close in terms of metrics, in terms of chances conceded, shots conceded. Arsenal is by far the best.
Does everybody agree on Gabriel?
Yeah, I mean, Gabriel has easily been the best defender in the league. It's not even close.
I said Gabriel at the beginning. I'd go with Gabriel.
Because I said Gabriel. Are you, Michael, down with Gabriel? We have enough votes.
Let's put Gabriel.
Even if you want to put Van de Ven, you can't because he missed 2 months of this.
He missed 2 months of the season. That's what I was about to say. The injured is not helping them.
Yeah, like for me, that's also important. I get that he's played really well, and I really rate Van de Ven, but Gabriel has been fit. Like that for me is and Gabriel has been our best defender this year by far. He's been better than Saliba. But the difficult one is the right side. For me, it's between Van Dijk and Saliba. I, as an Arsenal fan, will edge it to Saliba because Arsenal have far better defensive stats than Liverpool. And the only game where I can remember, Saliba having a terrible game and making a mistake was against Liverpool at home. That was the only game where he was really like where I noticed that he wasn't the same player. Van Dijk has had 2 or 3 games where he was horrendous. He was horrendous against City away. He was horrendous against Fulham at home when they won 4-3. Like Van Dijk has had a number of stinkers this year, even though he's been good. So that's why I would give the edge to Saliba, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Okay. So Adrian said Romero. You said.
By the way, I wonder now, Stefan, because when Mari said that he chooses Van de Ven and Gabriel, you got like worked up, and I wonder why, because you said yourself that it's between Van Dijk and
No. I got worked up when Adrian said Romero, and I was like, how can you say Romero? Like it's
like
because
me, like,
if you look at last season's stats and compare, and you look at all the stats, not just be choice selective like people do, even last season through now, Romero's stats weren't just better than Saliba's. He annihilated Saliba.
Don't do this.
Actually, I will say this. And I'll stand with you. I actually looked at the straight enough. I looked at the SofaScore score. I was kind of surprised. Romero, they had him at his position, the highest SofaScore score.
Oh my God! Yes.
But I'm like
Let me tell you why.
It's fun, right? Just pick your player next. I'll pick Romero. You pick what you want. I'm not bothered. If
Okay.
you pick
No, but let me tell you why.
Let's go to Michael's pick.
Okay. Let me just say this. With Van Dijk, the difference between Van Dijk, Saliba, and compared to Romero is when Van Dijk plays with a defender next to him, he makes the other defender better. He made Joe Gomez look good, guys. Joe Gomez is one of the worst defenders in the Premier. He is terrible. when Saliba played with a young Kivior away, I think it was So when Saliba plays with other defenders, he makes them better. When Romero plays with defenders that are not good enough, he looks absolutely horrendous. Like when he played with Eric Dyer, when he played against Fulham 2 weeks ago with Dragusin, he was all over the place. Van de Ven, for me, in 6 months has shown what a top defender is, because Van de Ven has made Romero this season, in my opinion, look far better. That's just I don't rate Romero that highly, so that's just me.
Well, I disagree. That's just his opinion. It's subjective, isn't it? It's just subjective. Right?
Okay, Michael, can we get your pick?
My 2 picks, right? I will pick Gabriel and I will pick Van Dijk. But listen, the difference for me between Van Dijk and Saliba is so negligible that, listen, you might ask me this tomorrow and I will say Saliba, because I think both of them have shown absolutely outstanding quality throughout the season. I know they had bad games here and there, but what edges it for me, just slightly edges it for me with sorry, I wanted to say Van Dijk, of course, but slightly edges it for me with
leadership.
With Van Dijk is the leadership and the fact that he had like 18-year-olds around him and he somehow managed to like make it work with them, right? And that's the only thing. And listen, Saliba in like 5 years might be way better than Van Dijk is at that with that leadership skill, right? But right now that's purely the difference for me. But listen, if someone chooses Saliba,
defenders, where is I didn't last time I checked. Gabriel played for Arsenal.
Just don't listen. Just let him talk shit. Click on Alex Scott, please. Romero was our best defender. You're talking nonsense. Dragusin played well too. What fucking game did you watch? Fulham could have scored 4 or 5 goals in that game. What the hell are you on about?
Okay, so you mentioned and all the shows, it's been unanimous, but I'm gonna give a shout out to the American. Robinson has been great for Fulham.
I disagree.
For me, I go first. I'm gonna say Udogie. But much love for Robinson from Liverpool. I mean, not for Fulham. Michael.
Who are you going, Mike?
Like left back generally in this season, like there are no like outstanding left backs in my opinion.
I agree.
Because like usually you had like Robertson for Liverpool, for example,
Yeah.
being like the outstanding left back, but he got injured early in the season, right? And you had others like correct me if I'm wrong, like Cancelo, Luke Shaw, right? Cancelo, I know like he's been defensively suspect, but what he did offensively in some of those games was absolutely like out of this world, right? But this season, like I think there were a couple of left backs that had like good periods. So, for example, Estupinian at the beginning of the season was performing quite well, but then he got injured, and ever since he came back, he's been absolute shit show.
Yeah.
I think Udogie like came into the league and took it by absolute like scruff of the neck, and was like one of the best left backs in the league, if not the best for that first period. But then the red card happened, and his performances started being like a little bit wobbly, and and I'm honestly starting to struggle right now with picking left backs, right? I think Aston Villa rotate too much to pick one, in my opinion. I actually like.
Did somebody say Gomez? 7-inch to short. Just get out.
No.
Get out of the chat, man. Get out of the chat.
No.
He's an Arsenal guy. He's an Arsenal guy.
Like,
oh my god.
Simic has too few games, in my opinion.
Yeah, but he was also injured for 3 months.
Yeah, Villa rotates too much. Gvardiol has been an absolute shit show. So unless you want to put Ake as a left back,
no, guys, the left back
Chilwell hasn't been
left back
from
Luton, guys, has been amazing this year. What's his name? Doty, I think his name is the left back from Luton.
Alfie Doty.
Alfie Doty. He's been amazing. I would agree with Udogie. I think there's not a lot to choose from, but I would say that it's between those two. It's between Udogie and Doughty. I think Udogie has been the best left back this year, but ever since the start of the year, he's been really poor. I thought he was horrendous. I thought he was really poor against Fulham. I thought he was terrible.
He was not good.
Yeah, but against Villa, he had, like, in my opinion, a really good
performance. Yeah, I mean, Villa,
I think that's why I'm saying like Udogie is really up and down recently. Like, but
how was Gomez amazing against what?
No, he's not 7-inch destroyer, mate. Like,
so let's, for the sake of time, let's the City United City Arsenal game. So we'll all agree that Udogie is that back line.
Udogie.
Even though I think it's harsh, I think Doty has been really good.
But
really,
massive shout out to Doty and Robinson. I think he's been really good defensively, but offensively, it's been like up and down, right? I know it's stupid to judge the defender by the offensive capability.
Guys, stop with this. This is what I mean by fans. Just because he had a really good game against Spurs doesn't mean he's having.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that he's
like stop with this.
He was good with Arsenal. He was good. Robinson's been.
No, he wasn't good. He didn't do anything against Arsenal. He didn't do that much against Arsenal. Like he was okay. He was he was good, but it wasn't like anything special against Arsenal.
And I'm proud to be American. I'll go.
Okay, let's go defensive number 6. This is gonna be interesting.
Number 6. Okay. Well, here's the thing.
I think it's a clean
I want to put 2 people there. I want to put someone that has not lost a game in 365 days.
Of course, he's gonna put fucking Roger.
I'm gonna pick Rice. Rice is definitely amazing. Rodri. For me, I got Rice, Rodri, and I heard this as a wild card.
Bissouma, maybe? No.
Nah, wait, come on.
I'm going to go in the wild card. I have Cole Palmer, Rodri, and Rice.
Oh, you are talking about the whole
three.
I thought you are mentioning only the 6s.
Palmer, focus the 6s.
Just do the 6. Just do the 6, Mari.
I have Rodri and Rice. That's my midfield.
You're putting both Rodri and Rice in the same.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm putting
okay.
both in my midfield.
So Rice is playing the 8 then.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll put him at the 8. Yeah, I'll put Rice in the 8. I have to have both of them. I have to have both of them in my midfield. But that's just my midfield.
Mike, let's do 6 first. Mike, who are you going for the 6?
6 first, Rice without a discussion, in my opinion. I think Rodri. Like, listen, Rodri is a fucking amazing player, but I think the impact that Rice has had and some of the performances he's put this season, like, that's why I said, like, Spurs fans will probably cook me for this stream, because I'm going to pick up other Arsenal players. I'm not afraid to say that they are having an amazing season. So for me, like, I will put Rice, but I also want to say it's really close for me between him, Rodri, just because of, like, the fact that, listen, like, whenever he plays,
Bruno Fernandes.
No,
Bruno Fernandes.
Whenever.
Oh my God.
Sorry, Danny, I have to disagree. I think Rice has been more impactful and better than Rodri this season. I know Rodri hasn't lost like this, I know, right? But I also want to shout out, and it depends who you want to, like, put in that role, because they switch either Douglas Luiz or John McGinn.
Ooh.
I know, like, John McGinn did an absolute fucking madness against us, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, I think, like, his performances over the season have been really amazing, and he's been that consistent player.
It
that
depends
you
on
often
what
need.
your perception of a number 6 is or should be for your team. Because fans will have a different perception of what a number 6 does, whether he just sits in front of the back 4 or whatever is, whether he's the one who progresses the ball and pushes you upfield. I mean, there are different perceptions of a number 6.
Okay,
I'm just giving a shout out. So for me, it's Rice.
Michael, to help you out, let me put up the stat in regards to. And I saw this on Sky's the Premier League website. They actually put Rodri and Rice. I have it right here. They put Rodri and Rice, and with Rodri and Rice, both have. Rodri has 25 appearances because he got suspended. Rice has 28 goals. They both scored 6 goals. They both have 5 assists. Completed passes. Rodri has 2,428. Rice has 1,662. Tackles 33 for Rodri, 34 for Rice. They're basically even, except for completed passes. It's probably because what Adrian said, because Rodri, Pep
Rodri's a better passer. Rodri's a better passer than Rice, but Rice is far more athletic and so much better defensively than Rodri. So
yeah, it depends if you want your number 6 to sit back or whether you want to press.
I mean, both. Look. Yeah, but both teams, I would agree. I think Rice slightly edges it this season because I think
I would put both, but
he's been better. But I'm gonna, Rice for me, because I just think Rice has been amazing this year, and I just think he
started slowly, Stefan, didn't he, Rice? And he's got better as the season.
He started, but
did start slowly.
I can't name like one game where he was terrible.
I don't know if Rodri started slowly or not. I don't know.
Look, for me, I just think he's been, edgy just slightly, like what Michael said. It's very, very close, but I think Rice is just been just a bit better, in my opinion. Obviously, it's biased. But then the number 8 position is where I'm really contemplating who to pick, guys. My number 8 this season is between Douglas Luiz and Ross Barkley. Ross Barkley has been amazing this season. I don't know if you guys have watched him. Every single game I watch him, this guy fucking balls out. Like, he just dominates the midfield every single time, and he's been amazing for Luton. I don't know how he didn't get picked in the England squad after his performances this year. So I'm going to go for slightly, because Douglas Luiz, in my opinion, arguably has been... Yes. Wait. Rice did play. He was injured. He got subbed off at halftime. Okay.
So before the number 8, I'm going with Rodri. So did we pick Rodri in midfield or not?
Yeah, no. I picked. So we have. So
I don't mind putting both. I'm going. My 8.
No, my 8 is Douglas Luiz. I'm picking my 8 is Douglas Luiz, and then number 10. I really think Cole Palmer is he's more than half of his goals are penalties, guys. Like, I really think he's so overrated. Best number 10 this season. I mean, I can't say Odegaard because Odegaard started really slowly.
In January is when he
against
Madison
Bryce.
was
Again,
Madison,
Bryce. Wait. Bryce commented about Rice. Don't be a smart. He didn't get hooked. He was injured. He didn't get hooked. He had an injury. He was out.
If I'm picking a number 10, I'm
Foden.
Foden. Yeah, actually, Foden. I'm gonna go.
Foden.
I'm gonna go Declan Rice, Douglas Luiz, and Foden as my 10.
I think Foden's really come of age this season.
I'm gonna go Foden.
Yours?
So basically, I hard disagree with Rice on number 8 position. I think his best position is number 6, and I think number 8 I don't want to say like shit or average or whatever, but I don't think he's performing up to that standard, right? Kulu for me played a few games. Kudus, okay.
Kudus was a really good 8.
Yeah,
really
but Kudus played a lot of the games on the right wing, right? So this is the issue, right? I think for me, as I said, Rice as a 6, 8 for me.
It has to be Douglas Luiz this year.
I think it has to be Douglas Luiz for me.
And then
I'm going through the teams. I'm thinking if there is someone else who stands out.
Ross Barkley for me is the only 8 that stands out. This really
I get it, but I cannot bring myself to put Luton players in the team of the year.
I love them, man.
Sorry, they are 18 for something, right? I just physically can't.
Actually, I would go Rodri. Actually, I would go Rodri, Rice, and Foden for me. I think Rice would give Rodri. Rice would give Rodri even more license to get a bit further forward.
For me, Rice, Douglas Luiz, and Foden.
Okay then. So it's equal then. So just Mari, you choose whoever, because it's 2-2. Because Mari's team is the same as Adrian's, and me and Michael's team is the same.
Eliminate Cole Palmer. I'll put in Foden. So
Foden is unanimous. I think.
Foden much better than Palmer.
Palmer,
I think, has been good, but I think whenever Pep Guardiola actually gets his shit together and puts Foden in the 10, because he has the tendency of putting him on the wing, where I think Foden is half the player that he is as a number 10. I think when Pep Guardiola puts him on the 10, I think he's one of the best players.
Rodri will be our CM. He'll be our center.
Wait. I just want to answer Bryce. First of all, he didn't have a bad game against Spurs in the first half. Arsenal had created plenty of chances in the first 30 to 35 minutes, which he was a part of. He just got injured. So I don't know how Bryce is going on about a game where he was subbed off at halftime because he was injured as some bad game for Declan Rice. I don't know. Okay, if you're going to go with that example as a bad game, then Jesus, man, you're really trying to find a bad game. But okay.
But by the way, with Scott's comment, right? I think Rodri and Rice deserve to be in the team of the year. I just think putting one of them as an 8 is hampering what they are doing best. Unless Rice is not an 8, right? Which is
not. He can play it.
He can play it, but he's not.
I honestly think over the last 3 to 4 months, Douglas Luiz has been one of the best players, and I think it's disgraceful that
I agree.
I think it's disgraceful that he's not. He scores goals from free kicks, from long shots. He has assists. He's he's been easily the best number 8 this season. Rice is not.
Yeah, I think he's at 10 goals and 6 assists or something stupid, right?
Rice for me is a good number 8. He's a very solid. He's just a really good player in general, but he's not been better at number 8 than Douglas Luiz. I'm sorry, he just hasn't.
Okay. So now we get to the front 3
strikers.
It's really interesting because
Haaland.
I've seen shows have a fight because there's people who have. I'm being honest. It's okay, easy. Haaland, Salah, and Saka. But the problem is Saka doesn't play on the other side. And so the fight has been between Salah and Saka. The stats will tell you Salah has more. Salah has missed the time. Not injury, but this time.
This season it has to be Saka. I'm sorry. So Salah has missed.
But Salah has a reasonable case. He has a reasonable
No, I agree. But I think Saka edges it.
And then the thing about Sonny has started 12 games
at left wing.
At left wing. And left wing, there's not too much to pick. And so I just want to just throw that as a disclaimer. But this time we'll start with Stefan, your front three.
For me, I'm gonna go right wing Saka because Salah has missed a month and a half of the season. For me, that's important. I think Saka has just been slightly better.
Watkins, we gotta consider.
Yeah, Watkins can be a good shot for a sub for Haaland. But yeah, Saka, Haaland, and then I would go left wing. I have to go Son, man. For me, it's Son left wing. I just don't see another.
I agree.
I can't think of another left winger that has been. Maybe you could say Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez played a lot for maybe Gordon, yeah, but Gordon didn't start very well for Newcastle at the start of the year. He started, his form started going up in the last few months. Maybe you could say Jota, but you can't name Jota because he's been out for 2-3 months. Yeah, so no, for me it's easy. For me it's Saka, Haaland, Son. For me that's my front.
Son's stats were impressive this year.
By the way, massive shout out to Hwang Hee-chan because I think before his injury he's been playing really, really well. But again, as we said, he got injured. He missed like 2 months of the season with injury and then the Asian Cup. So you can't really put him in because he played 10 games less than other players, right? But I want to make a case. I honestly can't understand why people are putting Haaland over Watkins for me based on performances this season. I am going for Watkins. Man. Sorry, but
he's not.
Haaland, I don't know. First of all, Haaland got injured for 8 games, so that is the case to point that out, right? I think Watkins has the best GNT in the whole league.
Yeah,
he's 2 goals behind Haaland, right? And I think, as stupid as it will sound, I think if you take Haaland out of City, it will be a lesser impact than Watkins out from Villa. I think Watkins is what is making Villa basically the team they are, in my opinion. So,
Michael, they have Douglas Luiz
in the forward line. Sorry,
no, I disagree. Bailey, are you forgetting Bailey? Bailey has been amazing.
I'm not forgetting Bailey, but I don't know. I think for me, I've been more impressed with Watkins' performances than Haaland. That being said, both of them have ghosted plenty of games. But it's basically the case with almost all forwards, right? You can say that for all forwards, in my opinion. Son has ghosted games this season. Saka has ghosted games this season. Salah has ghosted games this season, in my opinion. So I don't know. As I said, I've been more impressed with Watkins, but I think with majority of the vote, I think we'll see Haaland, and I'm not against it. But for me, I've been more impressed with Watkins. But again, it's like small margins, right? So the front three for me is, and again on the right wing also minuscule differences for me. It's Salah, Watkins, and Son. But if anybody puts Saka, I'm all for it. I don't mind.
For me,
we forgot, guys.
I just think that, Michael, what I've seen, we know Watkins is done well, but
he misses too many chances, guys.
Makes things happen. Haaland makes things happen. Son makes things happen. All those 3 players make things happen more than Watkins does for himself. All those 3 players can make a chance for themselves and score. Watkins seems to be more, needs more of team effort to get his goals and all that. Whereas Saka will pull one out of nothing, as will Son, as will Haaland. I mean, that's the difference. I'm not saying Watkins isn't a good player and I wouldn't like him at Spurs and everything like that, but I just think I just think the other three are much better. I think there's a bigger margin between those three and Watkins.
Who's your three, Adrian? Who's your
sorry?
three?
Salah.
Who's your three?
Salah, Haaland, and Son by
Okay.
region, right?
But
So,
guys, don't
I
forget
just think
Salah.
those players. I like players with vision who move the ball quickly, can make things happen. I mean, Watkins will poach good goals. He'll seize an opportunity. He'll seize on it. He'll go in there like a fox in a box. He'll bang one in. But as for like making chances out of nothing, he's not that type of player, in my opinion.
But
You need that in some games.
Yeah, but you say this about Watkins, but Haaland is the same. If they don't create for him, Haaland, he has no skill. He doesn't dribble. Haaland,
Oh, he
he's not
does.
like
He does it in some games, Stefan. Come on, he's carried Man City, and he's got them.
I
goals
honestly, I'm gonna be honest.
Julian
I've
Alvarez has
never seen Haaland
for City.
I've
Julian
never
Alvarez.
seen Haaland. Have you guys ever seen? I can't remember a goal that Haaland has scored from outside the box. I can't remember.
Yes,
I remember one or two, but it's
I
basically
honestly
like
can't
considering
remember.
how many he scored. Considering how many he scored, it's
All
like
right.
the fact that
So-
I remember like two.
If
Okay,
it's a
so
shot,
basically-
Stefan, yes, but there's been quite a few of his goals when
Haaland
he's
is,
been put through and clinically finished. For
will
the
have-
I agree. No, Watkins. I personally, guys, I don't rate Watkins as highly because
Mm.
he just misses too much, man, and he misses absolute sitters. Like he's not that good of a. And if you speak to
Haaland's
Villa
missed a few
fans,
sitters.
no, if you speak to Villa fans, they'll tell you the same thing. He's a really good player, but he's not top quality because he just like go watch, for example, some of the big go watch Aston Villa when they lost to Man United at home. The amount of chances that Watkins missed in that game was just like some of the chances were just ridiculous. So he has it in him.
If it's a choice between Tony or Watkins for the Euros, I'd take Tony.
Tone, no, I'd take.
I would take Watkins.
Yeah, see, this is where it's good fun.
Yeah,
But Bowen, I just want to point out to Bryce because he made a really good point. I would have said
England
Bowen,
will get in a penalty shootout and we'll need to.
No, I just want to say Bryce made a good point about Bowen. The point is that if you go see Bowen's first 2-3 months were horrendous. He was terrible.
And after the New Year's, I think like since the middle of January until like they got thumped by Arsenal, I think Bowen was basically missing.
So he was missing.
Like,
he was pretty much.
Bowen also goes like up and down, but this is why I try to like caveat it with. I really don't mind if someone puts Haaland and thinks I'm talking shit. I just been impressed with Watkins this season, right? And that's why for me he's
Bowen's
there.
talented, but he's not
And
special.
by the way, also like
he's not special. He's not a solid.
I know.
by the way,
Look,
like Solanke also.
Solanke's the same like Watkins.
Yeah,
He's good.
exactly.
His stats are really good, but the amount of missed chances he has is just a joke.
And he slipped on the penalty. Dickhead.
Yeah, him and Solanke. I would also give a shout out to he's been amazing this year. Nicholas Jackson, guys, we gotta put him in the top 5.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
if you notice, this is fair. There is 2 City, 2 Liverpool, 2 Arsenal, and 1 United
how the
player.
fuck is there 2 Spurs players? Jesus,
3.
There's more.
3.
Don't you ever
Fuck yeah, what the fuck?
2 of each. So it's basically taking the top 4. Well, not as the
Hey, we gotta also do a special shout out. I know he misses ridiculous sitters, but Darwin Núñez has been really good also this year, guys.
Yeah, he's been
10 goals, 10 assists this season.
Yeah,
I'm not convinced about him. I'm not convinced.
So Adrian, so you shat on Watkins for not creating chances. Darwin Núñez is the epitome of chaos. That's what he does.
Yeah,
That's
he is.
his whole thing. But you don't rate Darwin Núñez.
He may find his feet and get a hatful of goals next season, but he misses so many chances.
That's
Look at
true.
the chances he's missed.
Yeah,
No, with him,
some of them misses.
And like, if that had been a Son or a Kane or a Saka or something like that, they would have buried half of them. Not having said that, though, not that Spurs have probably missed more big chances this season than any other team.
No.
Yeah.
Darwin Núñez is the worst. He has the most, I think, by stats, he has the most big chances missed. But the thing with him is that he will score a goal that is absolutely ridiculous. Like you'll be like, how did he finish that? And then he'll miss an open goal like 5 minutes later. I've never seen a player so streaky and like just so up and down. But I think this is a very fair. I think this is a very
he's a clone of Werner.
No, Werner's just shit. Darwin Núñez is
true,
actually good.
true,
You know,
true.
actually, you reminded me, Stefan, that game in I think FA Cup or Carabao Cup, Liverpool played away at Bournemouth, and I think Darwin Núñez missed like a 5-meter sitter. Like literally, like all he had to do was just put a feet against the ball, and it was inside the net, and somehow he missed it. And then 5 minutes later, he fucking slapped one from 20 meters into top
From
bins.
like like
or like 30 meters or something.
No.
Like that.
Watch the game. Watch the game against was it Sparta Prague? The finishes. It's like what the where the fuck did this come from? Like last week he had missed he hit the post from like 5 centimeters, and then Sparta Prague he's like banging him in from 50 yards. Like top corner,
like volleys, bicycle kicks, whatever.
Yeah,
right?
bicycle headers, really good headers. Also, he's really streaky. But I really rate Darwin Núñez. I think I know he misses a lot, but he creates so much chaos. He just creates chances just out of him being there. And I really think for example, everybody shits on him, but I think Luis Diaz is dog shit. I think all he does is run around like a headless chicken and does nothing.
Oh, he's a good player. I think he's a very good player.
Why? Why is he a good player? He just runs around and misses constantly and doesn't do nowhere near as much as Darwin Núñez. But Darwin Núñez gets so much more flack.
I mean, I don't watch too much other teams. When I've seen Diaz play for Liverpool, I can't remember the games. A couple of games I'd see him play. I thought he was so effective. He had such an impact on the game. But I might be missing something in the other game, Stefan. I mean,
no, he's a bit like, I get what you mean. He looks really good in terms of watching. He's kind of like Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai looks really good in the game, but then if you actually looks in terms of the way his technique and his ball striking, but then if you actually watch the game, he's shit. He keeps losing the ball. He keeps kicking it out of play. He doesn't do anything during the game. He doesn't do anything. So I think it's a bit of that. While Darwin Núñez, yes, you see him miss like an absolute sitter, but then he'll score a goal or he'll create a chance. I really think Liverpool,
I think we're all harsh because we all expect players to be perfection. It just doesn't exist,
No, I just think if there's a perception that's created around the player, it's almost like it sticks to him for example, Kai Havertz, for example. You'd be surprised, but stats-wise, everybody says he's a really poor finisher. This season, he's exceeded his XG. So he's finishing better than expected. So he's actually a good finisher this year. But everybody will tell you that Kai Havertz is crap at finishing. He's one of the worst. He's not. He's actually good this year.
So look at the front three we've picked. They're all good finishers. They're all good finishers.
No, Timo Werner is not a good finisher, or
he's talking about
they'll miss chances because they're strikers. Strikers miss chances.
I made a mistake. There's 3 Spurs players. I didn't think about Vicario.
Yeah,
there's 3 Spurs players.
But I think.
And I wasn't trying to do that on purpose. I wasn't even trying to do that on purpose.
I think, Mari, I think the reason why we somehow ended up with 3 Spurs players is because, first of all, in those positions there is less competition, in my opinion. Because actually, when you look at it, we said that left wingers, you can say that listen, Gordon or someone, but I think Son has been the outstanding performer in that left wing, right? Same thing with left back, and with keeper. I think it was basically your choice, right? So that's why I think we ended up with three Spurs. But I think other teams,
no issue with Saka being in that team, though.
Yeah, I also have no issue with Saka being in that team.
I mean, Saka could have been on the team too.
I also said I have no issue with like Ben White, although his start was shit, right? And I also have no issue with Saliba, and you can make the cases for
Yeah,
other
I agree.
players from other of those top 3 teams,
Yeah.
right? So listen, we
No,
might
it's
have picked like we
it's
might
really
have picked
fair.
like 5 Arsenal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually think that the team is very fair. I think the team
It's
is
a good
very
team.
fair. I
It's a
think
good team.
Yeah.
Well, it's an excellent team.
you know,
not a good team.
it's a team based on. I disagree. If I were to say the final thing, because I have to go, guys, but if I was to disagree the most with any position that is chosen in terms of player here, it has to be Van Dijk. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
like I just
Fair enough.
I
It's
don't
just a
think
shame.
he's.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's
Yeah,
just a shame we can't put Jude Bellingham in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that was
don't
easy.
worry, Adrian. Don't worry. Southgate at the Euros is gonna play him at fucking center back probably.
Yeah, or
Well,
6.
listen,
All right, so
listen.
quickly,
If England can't sort their defence out, they're doing nothing in the Euros because
Stefan has to go.
their front
Well,
six is excellent, but the
Adrian,
defence.
we will end with the Spurs prediction. We need to get predictions for probably the game of the year.
Oh, Arsenal
City,
City.
Arsenal, Arsenal versus City. There is some injuries for a couple of the teams. I'll let Stefan go first. What's your
Prediction.
City Arsenal, is that
Logic.
City, yeah?
Yeah, it's at City. Logic tells me that it's probably going to be a draw,
You
but
hoping?
my heart tells me my heart tells me that I think we're gonna beat them. I think the injuries that they have, Kyle Walker and John Stones. Kyle Walker is their best pure defender in my opinion, and John Stones is their most important offensive defender in terms of progressing the ball. I think they're gonna really struggle without John Stones progressing through the.
I agree
through
with you.
the press.
Stone's more hurtful than Walker for me. But
I
yeah.
disagree because who's gonna defend the wingers for Arsenal? Rico Lewis, is not the same. Yeah, so for me, I think Arsenal are gonna edge it. I think it's gonna be a 1-0 win to Arsenal.
Another 1-0.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna. I think it could go one goal either way. If City are at home, I'd give them the 1-0, 2-1 win.
I have Scott score.
But it could be a draw. I mean, I don't. It's going to be so tight. I mean, I don't really know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I was gonna go because I mean the injuries, but I'm more. I got to see it to believe it. I'm gonna say 2-1 City.
No, that's true. Arsenal have a case to prove. I mean,
Yeah.
let's not forget when people are saying Arsenal need to prove it. Klopp hasn't won at City's ground since 2015. Just to point out how difficult. It's not like
City haven't won a Liverpool for years either.
Yeah, and City haven't won a Liverpool. So, it's not like some place where Klopp has made a statement even when Liverpool were really good. So this expectation that Arsenal have to beat City to prove that they're for real is for me.
No, draw would be a great result for Arsenal.
Yeah, a draw. Honestly, I'd be. Look, I think Arsenal cannot lose more so than they have to win. I think Arsenal just cannot lose. If we draw, it's not the end of the world. It's a good result.
All three teams have last 10 games are challenging. Every point is going to count, and so I think every game is important for those three teams.
I just think Arsenal, if you remember from the game at the Emirates, our edge came from our subs. And those subs are all back, guys. Partey is back. Tomiyasu is back. Everybody is pretty much back. And I think Arsenal can really make a difference. And Jesus has been training now for weeks. Supposedly he looks really sharp. So he's going to be fresh. Him coming off the bench. So Havertz looks really good at the moment. And one thing I read, which I had never thought about, was one guy wrote, if you guys notice, go watch the previous games of Ruben Diaz against Havertz. He really struggles against Havertz. He played shit against him in the Champions League final. He always struggles against Havertz. So I expect Havertz to have one over. And in the Community Shield, Havertz outplayed him there again. So for me, it'll be really interesting to see tactically what Guardiola, because I think what I agree with Mari, John Stone's not playing. I really think the Arsenal press, they're going to really struggle to play it out from the back. I really think that they will.
Well, the good news for Arsenal is Stefan is like Spurs will beat Man City at home, but the sad news is we'll beat Arsenal as well at home.
Let's see, Adrian.
Let's see.
I'm confident. I'm quietly confident.
But by the way, because
your prediction, Michael?
My prediction for City Arsenal, I'm seeing a lot of like 4-2s, 3-1s, 3-2s, or whatever, right? I'm telling you guys, it's going to be either a 0-0 or a 1-0 to one of the teams.
It's gonna be a shit game.
It's going to be a fucking shit game. Like they will keep each other at like
they will cancel each other out. I bet you
they will cancel each other out, and it will be like one shitty goal by City or one shitty goal by Arsenal
by
or a neutral. I'm telling you, every single time this season, I came into the game expecting a goal fest. I got served a 0-0 or a 1-0.
It's gonna be shit. It's gonna be
a shit.
It's gonna be the same game as the one at the Emirates, where it was a draw and then Arsenal stole it at the end because our subs came on and changed.
It's going to be so cagey at the beginning, so cagey. Both teams will be frightened to make a mistake.
But that's why.
I bet they're in the second half. Yeah?
But that's why, guys, I'm even more confident, because what is the edge in those really, really tight games? Set pieces. What are Arsenal amazing at this season?
Yeah.
Dodgy VR decision.
Or I mean, Arsenal barely get any more decisions, but okay.
You had seven penalties. We had one. Like
Steph, you have time
for penalties.
I know.
Time for Spurs Luton prediction, and then we'll end the show because I didn't want to go past.
Good show, guys. By the way, good show.
Yeah.
Spurs Luton. Because we lost, coming from a loss, I think we're gonna bounce back at home. Because Luton is tough. Luton is tough. I also see it also as a 2-1 victory. I think it's going to be frustrating at times, but we're a team of flurries. I think we're going to have a 2-goal flurry, which is going to be enough to be 2-1. If you guys saw the predictions I did on the Monday show, I think it was seesaw, win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. And I think this is the win that we have. I think it's going to be win-win-loss. I think it's going to be 2-1 win, but I don't think we win at West Ham. But so
You're jumping the gun, Murray. You're jumping the gun with the West Ham game.
Yeah. So I think we win this.
Wait. You win at West Ham? Murray.
No, he said we'll lose.
Sorry. I was like, okay.
Yeah, when I did my predictions, I had win-loss, win-loss. I think we don't win at West Ham, but I think
Mike,
we win.
what about you?
A good record at West Ham. A good record.
Okay.
But this West Ham is a bit different than the previous one.
Spurs versus Luton at home, and I'm giving you an honest, 100% honest prediction: 5-2 or 5-3. I think it will be an absolute fucking shit fest. I guess Luton 5-3. Listen, I've been watching Luton passionately this season. They are so bloody open at the back that
they're awesome. They're so fun.
Will score because he will get like 8 chances, 8 1-on-1s against Kamiński, right? So at least like one of them will be put in, right? And I think Son will score. And I think it will be a goal fest. That's why probably it will
if Charlton plays, he'll miss a sitter like he did right?
I think Richarlison is injured. Paul O'Keefe said today.
No, he's fine.
Apparently he's but today there was an update by Paul O'Keefe. Whether you like trust Paul O'Keefe or not, it's
he's really reliable, isn't he, for Spurs stuff?
It's like either he's the first one to break something and he's 100% correct, or he talks absolute bollocks. So
what did he say? Yeah, but Mike,
he said that he had. Wait, give me a second. I will find it. Because I've seen it.
Because usually when it comes to injuries, he's usually very reliable, from what I remember.
He said, what the hell is it? Other Spurs. I'm like quoting the tweet. Other Spurs injury news: Richarlison a doubt, with a knee issue causing concern.
He's such a pussy. He's always
Wait, wait,
injured, man.
Charleston's injured? He didn't play
Yeah,
this one.
that's according to Paul O'Keefe, but I don't know if this will like.
He's always injured. This
Yeah.
guy, even he gets injured whilst training, man. What the fuck? There's just
2-1, Michael. Who's going to score? Who's going to score for Spurs?
No, I said 5-3.
5-3.
Oh, 5-3.
What about you,
Right,
Adrian? What's your
Michael's
prediction?
forgotten to take his medication.
What's your prediction? I got 2-1. He has
I'm going 3-1. I'll go
Yeah.
Son, Kulusevski, and Madison. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. What Michael forgot. Although Luton do get at you and stuff, Michael forgot that Luton has a massive injury
Stephen's going to
crisis.
go
Their
5-0.
whole-
Yeah,
Their whole defense is injured pretty much. Their best attacker in Adebayo is also out. And I would say one of the best midfields this year, or the funnest midfield that I've watched, in Sambi Lokonga and Barkley. Sambi Lokonga is also out. They've been playing really, really well. So they're missing pretty much almost half of their starting 11.
They've got Ross Barkley and Andros Townsend.
Look, I'm going to say this. If Bissouma gets dominated by Ross Barkley at home, I don't want to ever hear Bissouma's name again. I don't want to hear his name ever again. I don't want you guys.
The guy's been playing with malaria, Stefan. Come on.
Yeah, of course. Always. You guys play with malaria. You have psychological issues.
Lasagna gate.
One last question. One last question. What's the goal differential right now? Is it 7?
Arsenal are ahead of Man City by
Maury,
11
what was
in
your
terms
score?
of goal difference.
2-1.
And then
Spurs.
Liverpool,
Scores?
I think by 7.
2-1 Spurs.
For me, it's gonna be 3-1. It's gonna be 3-1 Spurs, but Luton are gonna score the first goal from a set piece.
And then we'll come back.
Could happen, yeah.
That's usually the case. So the goal differential is by 7 or 8?
So for Liverpool, it's Arsenal are ahead of them by 7 of goal difference, and Man City 11. I think.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's good.
Arsenal's goal difference is really good.
Yeah, they smoked.
Yeah, it's
I was shocked. After Stel kept saying that Arteta's change of system is not creative enough. Arsenal, I checked the goal stats. Arsenal are the only team this year with more than 70 goals.
You have 46. Liverpool has 39 and City 35. That's goal difference, right?
Yeah,
and you have 70 scored, Liverpool 65 and City 63. Aston Villa 60, we have 59. Yeah.
Okay. No, I like this, guys. I like this energy. Be here next week, huh? If Arsenal do win, I want you guys here in the chat to keep talking this shit.
I don't mind if you win.
the league will not be decided on the head.
I mind if you win, but
this is.
Listen, if you win, I have no impact over
no,
this.
no, you might.
It won't be decided on what we think the big games are, like Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, or Man City's. It'll be decided on the lesser games, which is when them teams trip up, which has historically been proven. Like teams challenging when they've lost and failed on the run-in is because they've tripped up against lesser teams, and that. I think that is what will decide the league.
Just wanna...
game Arsenal Man City is not going to decide the league. This game.
Scott is coming on the show.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
come on the show,
there,
Scott.
mate.
Please come on the show. But I just want to point this out, guys. I was having a look at Liverpool's schedule specifically. I don't know if you guys have noticed. They have a period of 5 games, I think towards the end of their the last 10 games, where 4 out of those 5 games are away. So they have away to Fulham, away to West Ham, away to Villa, I think.
Champions League.
Us at home, and I think
and then you guys are the home game, and I forgot the other away game. So they have, and I think that's where they're gonna get. I honestly think they're gonna get knocked out in the Europa.
Stefan, mate, there's also it didn't help us against Fulham having the break, right? It didn't help us at all. Right, but you play 4 games in a 2-week period,
Yeah, and then
we
play
don't
you
play
guys.
one
It's
game,
fucking
and then you play
As a
us at
fan,
and then you play us
No.
at White Lane.
So Adrian, if you don't beat us, or if we beat you, that'll be hilarious. Because if we beat you, we'll be dead.
Yeah, it would be actually. It wouldn't look good on us because
I know a lot of Arsenal fans who
and
are
you play
scared
4
of,
games. You've got European games and league games, and then you play us. So
all the games.
I mean, let's see, because
it's a
the
good
legs
race.
we
of
all
your
know-
squad are going to be tested. The legs of
Yeah,
your squad.
I agree, Adrian. But let's see, because you know, in 5 games when we play you guys, 4 or 5 games, we all know Spurs. 1 injury and you're fucked. Everything goes to shit. If Madison gets injured or Van de Ven gets injured
you won
again,
at the Lane last year, first win there, right? You rarely win at our gaff. We rarely win at your gaff, right? All right, you're buzzing well. I think you do well to come away from the Lane with a draw, and you might be happy with that anyway. But we don't know what the league table's going to look like at that time, so we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, we're definitely look. I'm gonna say this before we go. This is gonna be a big test for Arteta, because one of his biggest weaknesses last year is his ability to rotate. Pep Guardiola, it took him 2 years at Man City to learn it the hard way. Let's see now, because you have to use Smith Rowe.
Well, are you confident as a fan in him rotating with the squad you've got? Are you confident?
100%.
Are you confident?
Because
I'm really confident. I'm really confident
Okay,
because of the fact that I think Smith Rowe in games like at home to Luton, I think Smith Rowe can easily. I think Smith Rowe.
I don't think he's been given a fair crack at a whip at Arsenal, but I mean,
I disagree, Adrian. I disagree. He's
got quick feet. I like his feet. Like bit of the skull.
Always injured, Adrian.
I think he's got quick feet.
Adrian. Nobody doubts his talent. I love him as a player, but he's always fucking injured. He plays 1 good game, Adrian, then he's out for 2 months, and then he loses all sorts of.
When he wasn't picked.
He's a good player.
No, Adrian, he was out. He was out again for he played 1 really good game against Sheffield at home. Then he got a knock. He was out for a month. Then then we went to Dubai. We went to preseason. He got injured again. He had a small knock again on his knee.
I can't remember the goal he scored when he was on the opposing team's penalty area and he used his quick feet and he shuffled and he scored. I forget the goal, but I thought
he's brilliant. Adrian, on his day,
talent to me, that showed talent.
But that's why I'm excited, because I think players like Reece Nelson, like Smith Rowe, they don't get a really good chance. Reece Nelson, every time Reece Nelson comes on for Arsenal, he does really well. Every time he's played, he's done really, really well. He deserves a chance. So now, Smith Rowe, if I'm Arteta, I'm going to be like, you're playing for your career now at Arsenal. If you play well and you contribute, you're not going to be sold in the summer. If you play shit and get injured again from 1 game, because Smith Rowe and Reece Nelson, they're going to play against the Lutons. They're going to play away to Wolves, maybe. Those are the games.
That's what big club does. You have to be ruthless.
You have to be. You have to be. And
Smith Rowe, I see him as a 10, but I don't, little I've seen him, no. So, but I mean, I can't call it because I haven't seen that. What I've seen,
he can play. He can play as a 10, Adrian, but I just don't think he's good enough passing in terms of creating chances. I think his best position, if he develops off the ball,
because of his quick feet in the final third, could create chances.
I honestly think his best position as a number 8, but he needs to develop physically and he needs to develop defensively. He needs to be a bit stronger. And judging by the way he looks now, physically, he really has hit the gym. So I'm expecting him to be really good. So let's see. I'm looking forward to seeing players like Jakub Kiwior, who's contributed. He's been arguably our best defender since he's come into the team. He's been awesome. I would start him against Man City. How can you actually drop him after his performances? So for me, we have some really good pieces, and people forget one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. Tomiyasu is such a good player. He is such a solid defender that can play right back, left back, center back. He can play everywhere. So that's another piece. And then Timber should be back very, very soon. He's already been in full training for 3 weeks. So I expect him to play
He's fitting them all in, though, isn't it, Stefan? That's the problem. That's the manager's job, though.
But Adrian, that's the point of competing. You have to be able to rotate. And this is what Guardiola couldn't do in the first 2 years of Man City. And Arteta last season, that's why Saliba got injured.
But it's making
That's
the
why
right rotation decisions. At the
Yeah,
right
no.
time.
In terms
It's
of,
not. It's especially if all your squad is fit. If all your squad's fit, it's different. If you've got injuries, it's easy to make that selection choice.
My opinion
in certain positions.
my opinion is that overall, if all Arsenal squad is fit, and I know this is controversial, compared to Man City's squad, Man City may have the better top, like their key players are better than ours. But I think overall as a squad, I think Arsenal's is better. If we have all our players, if we have because if you take out Rodri,
I understand you being an Arsenal fan. I don't agree with that.
No, okay. But if you take out Rodri,
I see the 9 on the Man City bench in one game and just thought, fucking hell.
Okay, everybody raves about Doku. Everybody raves about Doku.
I'm not Doku's biggest fan. He looked pretty
Nunes.
good for Belgium. Biggest fan.
Oh my god! By the way, I've heard the best insult towards Doku.
You like Doku, Michael?
I can't unsee it. Somebody called.
How many goals did he score for Man City?
I'm sorry, guys. I really have to go.
See you
later, mate.
All right, guys.
We got the weekend
Michael,
preview show tomorrow.
You like Doku?
Friday. Stell and Matt and Brian Daigle watch the show tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, late evening ish. The preview.
Hey Mari. Yeah. No. Another person that's gone missing from my chats and shit. Matt was talking so much shit at the start of the season. Now he's gone missing also. Everybody goes missing.
Who's on the chat tonight? He's a big
up. He's on the chat tonight. Yeah, because Spurs haven't played yet. But watch if Spurs fuck up against Luton, he's gonna go quiet again.
Okay, guys. But on that note,
Michael, what do you think of Doku? Seriously, what do you think of him?
Come on, Spurs.
We'll see guys, remember, if Arsenal lose, it's okay because we win at life. That's the most important thing. So see you guys.
Come on, City. Let's go. All right. Come on,
Michael,
Spurs.
what do you think of Doku?
We're about to end the stream, so we'll talk about it back.
Okay.
Come on, Spurs. We are out.
Yeah, we are out. Bye-bye.
Cheers to the panel.